You may just have to swing it for a while. I think we're seeing some stuff today, Fraser, that we may never ever see again.
I'm Jordan Mercado.
I'm Dustin Beggs.
I'm Ryan Cheeky.
And you're watching Friday Night Baseball.
Welcome to Friday Night Baseball.
I'm Mikey Reynolds, and welcome to Friday Night Baseball.
Well, g'day baseball fans, and welcome to a new season of the Australian Baseball League, a new year of Friday Night Baseball. 3 decades ago, the country launched its first ever national comp, with South Australia represented by the Adelaide Giants. Tonight, its modern successor goes back in time, adopting the name and spirit of those inaugural pioneers. Live from Active Display Stadium, it's 4-time defending champions, the Curran Cove Brisbane Bandits, taking on the new look Adelaide Giants. My name's Phil Hurden, pumped to be here for a new season of Australian Baseball League. Joining me, definitely the designated expert of the duo, Giants player and caller, Scott Pratt. Welcome, Scott, to a new season.
Thank you, Phil. Great to be here, and what a night, what an opening to the season this game will be. You can see there with the Brisbane Bandits, 4-time championship winners, coming up against the Adelaide Giants, reborn again. Fantastic to see that and be out here for the opening game. Very exciting, the opening series.
Temperature 17 degrees. Lots of new faces, lots of young talent in the Giants lineup, none more so than Curtis Mead. During the week, our Friday Night Baseball crew caught up with Curtis.
Yeah, I mean, it's awesome. I mean, playing every day, training every day is kind of what every young Australian baseballer dreams of. So to get that opportunity in the professional environment was really beneficial for me. Day one was hard, I guess, walking in, not knowing too many familiar faces, but making those connections and being able to broad out to a winnable team here in Australia and get to show them, I guess, what our lifestyle is like. Pretty cool. So I definitely feel like I've taken steps forward, and yeah, to play some games and get some wins on the board as a team's been really good, and get some confidence rolling into Brisbane round one's definitely something we need. I just think we got to play our game. I mean, Brisbane are obviously a really tough opponent, and they've been good for a number of years. So I think if we just play our field the way we can and play and try hard every game, I think we can take a few wins away. Trip for Taiwan was really good for not only our team culture and everything. I mean, we had lots of new guys, and being away travelling, obviously you kind of get a better insight to everyone and what they're like as people. So I mean, that trip was really good. We have funny jokes from the trip, and yeah, it just brought everyone together. And so yeah, we're ready to roll. It's really special. Obviously, having my dad play for the Giants is a close thing to my heart. And I mean, being able to represent the state like the past Giants did is a really special thing for us.
Yeah, Curtis Mead in hot form last week in the pre-season games against the Japanese universities. Let's hope that continues through this weekend. Of course, it won't be easy for the Giants. They're up against the formidable 4-time defending champions that are the Brisbane Bandits. This is what their lineup will look like tonight. They're going to be led off by number 9, Tim Cole. He's in left. Logan Wade, he's batting second at short. Andrew Campbell, third at centre field. Mitch Nielsen, fourth at second base. Mike Benjama comes into the lineup. He's batting 5 at third. Wade Dutton, 6 at right. Jerry Martinez behind the plate at 7. David Goofy Sutherland, he's at 8, first base tonight. And their number 9 hitter is a DH, and that's Dan Nielsen. One word, Scott: formidable.
Oh, well and truly, this is a lineup that you have to come playing with your A-grade game. There is no warm-ups. This is game on against the Brisbane Bandits. Great lineup, 4-time championship winner, and they aren't coming back quietly.
Alrighty, this is what the Giants will look like for the first time in the Australian Baseball League at West Beach. Eric Peterson will lead off at third base. Mikey Reynolds batting 2 at short. Aaron Whitefield, the human highlight reel from Premier 12. He's in centre field batting 3 tonight. Cole Stobie batting 4 at right. Ben Aklinski, he's batting 5 at left. Rickson Wingrove, 6 at first in the 7-hole. You saw him earlier. Curtis Mead, he's at second base tonight. Mitch Edwards, he's at catcher batting 8. And another designated hitter at number 9, Jordan McArdle.
Very interesting. I have not seen number 9 hitters being DHs for a long time, but it just goes to show the power of these lineups that are presented before us today.
So it is Alumni night. You've been racing up and down the grandstand because, of course, you are Giants royalty from the good old days. So thanks for coming back. I'm very grateful that you did come back. What do you remember from those days?
Oh, look, it was they were great days. Back in the early days with the Giants, we had the link up with the Dodgers, and we had those guys coming over and being a part of it. We travelled a lot. Spent a lot of time on the road together as a group. Good fun times out at Norwood Oval. Very exciting out there. You can see out there at Norwood Oval, the atmosphere was always electric. The crowds were always good. It was exciting times to be a part of, and it's good to see it rebuilding again. Good to see the Giants come back. Very happy being a former Giants player myself to see that come back, and it really just creates some history, which, as we know in all sports, it's very important to have history and tradition. So it's great to have that happen.
Yeah, well, I was one of those in the stands watching the action, never ever thinking at the time that I might be joining a legend player and calling the games here at West Beach. You can see the new attire there. The Bandits come in, and look, they're formidable at any time, but if you're going to get the defending champions, is it best to get them early in the season?
Well, I guess so. You're right. The first is always the worst, as they say, and that is the best time to get them, but there is no good time to face this lineup, no good time. But that being said, you know, you look at the Adelaide Giants, and we have recruited very well. We've got guys that have come back bigger and better than stronger. It's great to see Mikey Reynolds back, Whitefield back, Edwards back, Curtis Mead bigger and stronger. The way he has been hitting the ball, the way he hit last weekend was outstanding. So it's really good to see where hopefully we've taken that next step forward.
Yeah, they're a very experienced lineup, the Bandits. The 4 oldest players in the 2 squads this weekend are from Brisbane. David Sutherland leading that. Meanwhile, the 4 youngest players out of the 2 squads are from the Giants, including, would you believe this, Scott, 4 players now born in the 2000s.
Stop it.
Feeling old? Just yet. Umpires are having a conference with the 2 managers. Of course, David Nielsen, Tank Adamson will probably sharing a room for the last couple of weeks, part of the Australian team, Premier 12, Korea and Tokyo. And of course, this is the first game of many. We've got 20 home games coming up. And Series 1, double header tomorrow night at 4 o'clock and 7. You can see there the 4 o'clock game, 7 innings. And I might get you to talk about 7 innings games a little bit later because it has been a discussion point. Then 12 o'clock on Sunday will be the finale. There'll be a Christmas series against the Melbourne Aces. And then in the new year, we will have Perth, Auckland and Geelong, Korea. Plenty of fun times at the ballpark. If you love your baseball and you love our telecast, that's great, but it is even better live. So make sure you come down to the ballpark. It is now a stadium here, Scott. The changes they've made to this place over the last 3-4 seasons have been just phenomenal.
Oh, it's fantastic the way that you can see that they've brought the crowd into the game. There's protection here from the sun. It really makes it an enjoyable place to come down and watch the game. And we're right on top of the game here, so the way that they've brought the big stadiums down, the big stands down, you can see that right field line is already packed out. Like that's chock-a-block full, and you'll see once that sun goes down, the left field line will fill up as well. There's a big crowd here for a Friday night. It's not a Saturday night. Normally the Saturday night we get a big crowd, but for a Friday night this is a really good crowd.
Absolutely, and of course the new corporate area, one of the great spots to watch South Australian sport. Used to be the Shark Tank.
Yes.
It's now the Burrito Bowl.
Beautiful
thanks to
Zambrero. Cracking
So,
food out there that they'll be having tonight.
still got to talk to our production team about maybe doing the broadcast from there.
Oh,
I reckon we
get messy.
should be much more colourful callers immersed within the Burrito Bowl. You can see it there thanks to Zambreros. So not too far away from the national anthem, the first pitch. Good to see we're on the field keeping to a time. But Dave Nielsen looks like he's brought a checklist with him at the moment. He's going through his officiating crew. The two pitches tonight, of course you always look at the pitches, and it's Corey Taylor for the Bandits. It's going to be Dustin Beggs for the Giants. Two pitchers that have both tasted Triple-A action this year. So it's a high calibre pitching matchup to start the season. And look, when you're the Bandits, you know you can start slow because they always finish so strongly. 7 playoff appearances, have won every single one of those series. But for the Giants, they're trying to build. How important for them is a quality start?
Oh, this is very important for the Giants. You know that the Bandits, they take their, they have the ability to work their way through the season to end up being in playoff positions. But for Adelaide, they really need to jump out early and get some confidence behind them. You know, they didn't make the playoffs last year. They just missed out. They're looking to make the playoffs. When you're in that position, every win is vital for you. And really, this first one, this is the one you want to bounce out and get.
So this year it is a 2-man commentary crew. I can hear you asking already, where's Fraser?
Yes.
Well, Fraser got a promotion, and a well-deserved one. He's gone from being the voice of Adelaide baseball to the voice of Swan Hill Radio. The king of the Murray Cod, as I like to say it. And he's a journalist student. He's finally got his full-time radio gig. But it's not the last. Fraser will be back, I believe, around Christmas time. But we're back to a duo, Scott Pratt, Phil Hurden. To help us, we need you, and that means check out the YouTube feed. Go to YouTube and then abltv.com. Plenty already have. Put the comments in. We will keep track of them. Scott, one of your new tasks now as the game allows. But good day already to Finbar, who's a Bandits fan. Jason loves the 7 innings in Auckland. Barton says good day. Jason's a Giants fan. Good day to Gary, who's watching from the UK. Watching my first Australian baseball game. Gee, no pressures there. Travis, Bandits man. Baseball Brit, the globetrotting baseball Brit. Good day to you. Glenn Long, a long-time Bandits man. Jordan, plenty of Bandits on the feed. Keep it going, guys. We'll do our best to keep track as the game allows. And a special cheerio to the official watch party tonight that the Brisbane Bandits have. It's at the Sporting Globe in Chermside. Good day to you all. Hope you get set for a big game tonight. We are supposed to have already been 2 minutes into the contest. I think maybe because there was so many alumni, Scott, they're running a little bit behind schedule.
Oh, it's a big crowd. It was great to see so many of the players come back, and you know what was great was there was 3 generations out there. When you look at it, the early years, and then the middle years, and then the latter years with the bite at the end of that time. So it was really good to see so many players past them and have the present guys out there as well.
We look at the sides, and both bring changes to them. For the Bandits, they're a formidable lineup when you look at the number of 10-year veterans even that this side has. They have 6 players in this squad that have played all 10 years of the modern ABL. Adelaide has 0. We'll give you some more facts in a sec, but we are just about ready to get underway with the national anthem, and singing that will be Toby Hall.
Bandits for one, and a very important member of the Australian baseball community.
And we're also going to have a moment of silence. We're so excited by the start of the season, and so sad that over in Auckland, Ryan Costello passed away. And we'll have a moment of silence for Ryan, forever part of the Australian baseball family.
We play the national anthem in honor of Luke. Thank you. We ask that you remain standing and join us with Toby Hall from Hallmark Music Studios for the singing of the national anthem.
You ready to play ball, folks? Always great to have the anthem. And should also mention the moment of silence as well for a player who spent time at both the Adelaide and Brisbane camps, and that, of course, the 2-metre Dutchman, Luke van Mil, who passed away in the off-season. There are some things as commentators, Scott, that we try and explain to the listeners. Luke's passing, so sad, we just can't explain.
Yeah, it certainly is. Certainly is. And our thoughts go out with the family and all family and friends.
Alrighty, starting pitcher for the Adelaide Giants, and I should add that every time I say the previous team in the incorrect context, it's $1 into the fine jar, and we'll find a charity at the end, so keep me honest with that. Dustin Beggs is the starting pitcher. Like all players, baseball players have stories the likes of which I haven't seen anywhere else. He's part of the Miami Marlins system. A 26-year-old was drafted. Well, he's been drafted twice, actually. Round 17 by the Cardinals. He was playing in Georgia Junior College, but decided, I'm not going to go pro yet. I'm going to go to Kentucky in the SEC, which is just as powerful in baseball as it is in football. He thought that would help develop mentally as well as physically. He played 22 games across all 4 levels, A, AA, AAA, and rookie, battling some injuries this season. Tell you a bit more about Dustin Beggs, but we are set to rock and roll. It is Friday Night Baseball from Active Display Stadium. Thank you so much for joining us, and to get us underway, it will be at the plate. It'll be the new player, Tim Cowell, the 27-year-old American. And it's time, Scott, to play ball.
It certainly is.
And Beggs starts the season with a first pitch strike. So Cowell, 27-year-old from Minnesota. As you can see, lefty. Waste no time attacking Beggs. And in the end, that'll be a pretty easy play for our first baseman to do his own laundry.
And as you can see there, straight away going straight at the hitters, and that's very important. You want to get out there and you want to take command of that strike zone and get ahead of the count as early as you can and as often as you can. So a very good start there for Dustin.
So Rickson Wingrove, the recruit from New South Wales, the first baseman, getting the first unassisted put out. And now we're with Logan Wade, who I've colorised for 2 things. He's one of what I'm going to call the awesome foursome. One of 8 players who's won 4 championships and an Australian rep. First pitch. Look at them all gather. It's party town and almost disaster.
That is what you call a high sky baby. That ball was up there for a long time, and you can see the right field flags there are waving around. That was not an easy catch right there. So very good to get that one in the bank and now have two outs. A nice early start. I think there's about 4 pitches if I can count correctly.
I reckon you're spot on. As first pitch throws, so Beggs likes getting ahead in the count early. This, of course, is Soupy, Andrew Campbell, who finds his way to second again on the second pitch to Curtis Mead. That is a very quick 1, 2, 3 to open proceedings.
Certainly is, and as I said, there's 6 pitches in the first innings. Fantastic, very economical, and exactly what you're after. Exactly the start that Adelaide Giants are after.
Well, we talked about the Bandits good getting early. Checked in their 4 championship seasons, i.e. the last 4 years. Their record in their first away series, 1 win, 1 draw, 2 losses. And amazingly, Scott, this is the 10th year of the modern-day Australian Baseball League. This is the first time in 7 seasons that Adelaide have started at home.
Wow, that's handy.
Part of that, I guess, using the old Norwood Oval. So that's the old Norwood Oval. Took a little bit of time to get ready after football season. And this venue here has always had a lot of transition to build grandstands and so forth. So it's nice to finally open up at home. Let's work our way through what the Brisbane Bandits are going to offer tonight. Their starting pitcher is Corey Taylor. He's a 25-year-old from Laredo, Texas, grew up in Oklahoma, played college ball at Dallas Baptist University, and drafted by the Giants, and making, of course, his ABL debut. Did go through a 7-inning, 2 outs from a no-no back in the time, did throw the complete game, and I'll tell you about his AAA experience. It won't take long because it didn't go long. Quite amazing. He will face a Giants lineup that's going to be Eric Peterson, Mikey Reynolds and Aaron Whitefield. Of course, 1, 2, 3 in the order to get us underway. Thank you for the feedback. We are making some adjustments to the sound as we speak. But it's Eric Peterson, who's in the Dodgers organisation, who will start things off for the Giants. A clean slate to work with. And Scott, before we get underway, any takeaways from that top of the first?
Oh, very exciting start. Very happy with that. And now you look at Adelaide, their top of the lineup is built around speed.
So Taylor starts off with the first pitch ball. In 4 seasons, he was just released in August. Corey Taylor played for all 6 teams in the Giants farm system. 86 games, 58 starts, 346 innings pitched, a minor league career ERA of 3.45 and a whip of 1.39. Over 300 strikeouts. Puts that one right down King William Street. That will create the fly by the scoreboard, but in the end, fairly easy work for the right fielder in Wade Dutton.
Yeah, well, as you can see, you put that ball up in the air out at right field, that's just going to sit up. So the approach that we've got to be mindful of here at West Beach is that wind blows in. So any fly ball that sits up out at right field is just going to sit up easy for a catch.
Alrighty, we will set up. So Mikey Reynolds back for another year. He was joint hitting champion with Tim Kennelly in the ABL last year. An early re-signing. I spent some time with Atlanta and St. Louis, but played some independent ball with 2 clubs. As he's quite patient looking at that in the dirt, and already Reynolds is ahead at 2-0 in the count.
And he had a very successful off-season, or what you would call his in-season, while he was away. So he's coming back with a red-hot bat.
Is indeed. Fouls that one onto the roof. 2-1. He played the year before with the Sussex County Miners. Then got signed by the Kansas City T-Bones, which is a team fairly well known to Australian baseball fans because their play caller is Dan Vaughan Jr., who's normally with the Perth Heat crew. That's Dan's day job, I guess, doing the media and calling for the T-Bones. And a couple of months into it, ended up back at Sussex County. So he's had a fairly busy time. Came down and spoke to the Volunteers Day a couple of weeks ago about his experience, which was great to share. And he'll be excited to get back into some action.
You can see there the last two to three pitches have come inside on Reynolds. So they know that he likes to get a bit of leverage with those, take that ball the opposite field and keep working him hard inside for a full count now.
Apparently his most lethal pitch is the sinker, but Reynolds is on base with a walk.
Now the situation here that we face, which is an exciting thing for the Adelaide Giants, is that you've got Reynolds with speed, you've got Whitefield with speed. So a situation here for the pitcher will be mindful of this. Dave Nelson will be mindful of this. You don't want to get yourself into a breaking ball count because that's a good opportunity for a base runner to take the base. So this gives Whitefield the chance to see some fastballs here. Let's have a look at how they go about this matchup.
Last year Reynolds stole 11 bases, caught just the 3 occasions.
Well, didn't he steal more than what we stole as a total?
The year before.
The year before.
He did.
So very handy to have that speed in our lineup.
Yeah, I think you've got to play speed, and position hitting is how you play Active Display Stadium. Of course, Bennett Field.
Well, we did talk about this last year in one of the sayings, and we won't get too deep into it, but speed does not slump.
Never does.
And we saw Whitefield last year, the way that he went about things on the base paths.
Oh yes, well hasn't Aaron Whitefield had himself a month?
There it is on the breaking ball, and there he is, safe. So you can see there, off-speed pitch, and straight away Reynolds takes the base. Great base running there by Mikey Reynolds.
So there were 9 Brisbane Bandits on the Australian team at the Premier 12 tournament, 1 Adelaide player. So, and Whitefield, of course, is a former Bandit where he won the Helms Award. So teammates suddenly wearing the different coloured jerseys.
Yeah, that's a handy lineup to and a nice little pre-season giddy up for you to go over and do that, and then start the ABL season.
Left his mark, in particular on the centre field wall at the Sky Dome in Seoul. There's a good hit, and that's going to bring our first RBI. That's into Death Valley in the right field corner. Reynolds is going to score. Aaron Whitefield, an RBI double, a 2-bagger to get us underway, and the Giants take an early 1-0 lead.
Fantastic hitting there by Whitefield. As you can see, he just kept that shoulder in, ball outside, didn't do too much with it, just drove it to the opposite field. Great hitting there by Whitefield. Putting that ball in play again, you know, you can see that approach, not trying to do too much, not trying to lift that ball up into this breeze, and a hard hit shot down the right field line. Outstanding piece of baseball right there.
As we have mentioned, ad infinitum to the regulars. The other thing Whitefield brings is hustle, and that's why he's at second. He wasn't just content to stand at first and let Reynolds score and claim the RBI. He wants to put himself in scoring position. And just for the record, let's just say it, Adelaide are 1 for 1 runners in scoring position.
There we go. We'll keep that stat. We'll be happy with that.
And off a free base too. So Taylor already likes to keep the batters honest, a few on the inside.
Yeah, he certainly does, and in a situation like this is where he wants to obviously keep him off from digging in, as they say, and just brush him back a little, and gives him the opportunity to then come in with his breaking ball when he needs to.
All the ones. 1-1 count, 1 out, 1 on. 1-0 scoreline in the first. Taylor checks off second, and Whitefield back in time. Of course, the issue is if you mistime that throw and it ends up at centre field, you know Whitefield's going to be dashing off to third. So this is Cole Stobie, 22-year-old American, new recruit, part of the Phillies organisation. And speaking of off, Whitefield is off with the sound of the bat. In the end, Mitch Nielsen is at Whitefield, hustling home, and it's there!
Unbelievable play there by Whitefield. The minute that ball was hit, that was a hit and run right there. So you could see straight away, Whitefield got the jump, ball hit to the right side. He was off straight away, using his speed. Once again, we talked about that. 1, 2, 3, 4 hitters. We got some speed at the top of the lineup, and Whitefield made the most of that. Outstanding baseball.
Audacious, but successful.
Well, there's a plan behind that, right? So straight away, the ball was, Whitefield was running. And Stobie's job was to put the ball in play and put it behind the runner, and he did that effectively, and Whitefield was off.
So Stobie out, but produces the run. And all of a sudden the Bandits in an unusual spot down early. They did have a season last year where they are in the Northeast Conference, trailed the Sydney Blue Sox every week of the season until the final day of the season. And as the Bandits do, results went their way, and they got the top seed. From then the playoffs had to go through Newmarket, a real home run derby in the semis, before a home and away against Perth, which they won 2-0 for their 4th championship. Just paints the inside.
Yeah, and that's a sign of outstanding organisation that just go about the process and the results will take care of themselves, and they did very well in the way they handled that. And there's a nice pitch in drop third strike, gets the out at first.
And that'll do it for the first. Action-packed already. 2 runs on the board. Hope you're enjoying Friday Night Baseball. A beautiful night. You probably want a hoodie, but otherwise, glorious occasion to watch baseball. Hey, anytime's a glorious occasion to watch baseball. Opening night for these two sides in the Australian Baseball League, the Brisbane Bandits and the Adelaide Giants. Phil Herden with Scott Pratt. And Scott, an exciting start for the Giants, some speed and boldness on the bases.
Well, that's exactly what the Adelaide Giants and Chris Adamson, what they've recruited. They've recruited some speed. They're making the most of the speed that they had in Reynolds and Whitefield, and good execution baseball. That's exactly what we want to see. In Whitefield taking that ball to right field, hit and run. Whitefield getting on his wheels straight away. Great execution, great baseball to get 2 runs up.
So now for the Bandits, 4, 5, 6, Mitch Nielsen, Mike Majama, Wade Dutton. And Beggs gets back to work. Exceptionally quick. 8 pitch, top of the first. There's only going to be a second pitch. Oh, that's going to be just drop over the reach of Reynolds. And there goes, well, the Bandits get their first hit, a single to centre field for Mitch Nielsen, one of those Australian representatives. Coming up now, Mike Majama, and already on the chat, the former Seattle Mariners starting catcher. Played AAA for the Tacoma Raiders in 2018. 15 years in the big leagues as well.
How many years was that?
15 games in the big leagues or probably.
Had me a little worried there. Sorry, Phil.
No, it wasn't
wow.
Peter Cosmo.
Yeah,
But no,
yeah.
15 games.
But again, here's major league experience
Absolutely.
in the ABL, and this is what we've been talking about, where this league is going.
So that one's going to be in the dirt. Yeah, so the Bandits noted for their lack of base stealing. Not something you normally need a lot of in Newmarket. Stay on base and then watch and stay on base until the next one flies over the fence. There's a hardware onto Reynolds, who captures it nicely. Double play around the turn. Got him. Getsu in Japanese. That is a double play. And the early Bandits third is extinguished. Mikey Reynolds couldn't quite get the stretch for the first one. Great stop for the second. We've got Bettina on the chat from Germany. So our country count is building by the batter at the moment. Good evening to you all. It's just gone about 7:45 Adelaide time. 7:15 Brisbane. Which if you looked at a map, it makes no sense because Brisbane is east of us. Little thing called daylight saving. If you want to get into an argument with a Queenslander, talk about daylight saving. Stay tuned, folks. Get out your record books. The trivia question is back. And we'd love those on the YouTube feed to give us their answer. We'll have that at the end of this Bandits turn at bat. This is Wade Dutton, 6th season, 33-year-old. One of my on the outside corner. Did he swing? No siree. So Darton, it's almost like who from the Bandits wasn't on, which Australians from the Bandits team were not on the Australian side. Beggs gets his first strikeout down under. And that is 6 up, 6 down for the Bandits. Now, it's trivia time. Okay, and we'll try and do this every Friday night game. So just to set a little bit of context, the Adelaide and Brisbane. Adelaide's last 2 playoff series have been against the Bandits. So let's talk playoffs. It's week 1, let's talk playoffs. Over the last 9 seasons, who have Adelaide played the most in the playoffs? Most number of games. And you got 3 choices. The correct answer is in front of your eyes. It's A, the Brisbane Bandits, B, the Perth Heat, or C, the Sydney Blue Sox. And we give you a full 6 outs to work it out. And if you're a game on the YouTube chat, A, B or C, that's A, the Brisbane Bandits, B, the Perth Heat, C, the Sydney Blue Sox. I know you want a clue. The clue is best of 5. Best of 5. And thanks to Brooke and Phil, who've already put the, and Paul, who've locked in B. Perth Heat seems to be the early favourite. G'day to Nabeen watching in Bankstown. So, of course, we have already had a game today. We have a final in the books. It is Perth at Auckland. And the Tuatara, their new facility, the teal monster in left. It's not quite teal yet. They haven't quite got around to painting it yet. Perth Heat won 1-0. Auckland got 2 on at the bottom of the 7th in a 7 innings game. Bo Bishop, former South Australian baseballer, hit to second, and that was all she wrote. So in the Southwest Conference, which is Adelaide, Perth, Melbourne Aces, Geelong, Korea. Perth already giving Adelaide something to chase. And we even had an at-bat. So we go to Rickson Wingrove, the new recruit, who wastes no time to pop that up. And that is a pretty quick first out. Been going pretty quickly, so let me set up the Bandits defensively before they sub. In the outfield, Tim Colwell. In centre, Andrew Campbell. In right, Wade Dutton. Around the bases, at third base, Mike Majama. Logan Wade at short. Mitch Nielsen at second, and Goofy David Sutherland at first. Jerry Martinez is behind the plate. Daniel Nielsen is the designated hitter. Ryan Battaglia is one of the subs. No Donald Lutz on this trip. Well, he's certainly going further. When he goes back to the States, he's going to Tampa Bay.
Anyone else?
No, especially when you see who got traded for. I'll explain that if Curtis has the at-bat to allow us. Tries to pop that one over the home run fence. It's going to end up in the always had Adelaide bullpen. I haven't said that word just yet, I think. Yeah. Down in the dirt. Yeah, look, and I guess the way for those outside of Adelaide and the South Australian baseball community, you might just scratch your head and think, Bite was something unique and the logo was pretty cool. Why go back to the Giants? And as Mead cuts that story short with a hit to Logan Wade, who gets the easy out, and that is 2 away for the Giants. The term Giants means so much to the South Australian baseball community. Those heady days at Norwood Oval with huge crowds, our players in the National League with all, yourself and those stars coming from the Dodgers. And I think this is about the Adelaide team in the Australian Baseball League trying to connect as fully as it can to that previous and current South Australian baseball community, as Mitch Nielsen will field that at second, and that'll do it for the Bite. That is the end of 2. No runs on the board. Hope you're enjoying Friday Night Baseball.
When your GP suggests an X-ray, low-dose CT scan, ultrasound or MRI, you can experience the difference of truly individual care and one focus, you. Sound Radiology is your choice for special attention, your choice for peace of mind, your choice when results are important. People from all over South Australia turn to Sound Radiology. One central location, one central focus, you. Call 1300 Radiology. Sound Radiology, your choice when care is everything.
Zambrero, made to order Mexican from fresh, quality ingredients. Explore our menu, dine in or grab and go. Vegan and gluten-free options. Fresh and healthy. Zambrero, Mexican with a mission.
I came from the mud, there's dirt on my hands. Strong like a tree, there's roots where I stand. Oh, I've been running from the law.
Oh, another glorious sunset in Adelaide. That's looking over St. Vincent's Golf. The beach from this facility is just half a kilometre away. You can see there the Giants getting on the board. 2 runs at the bottom of the first. Mikey Reynolds was walked, and then Aaron Whitefield hit a RBI double, and then Cole Stobie sort of hit a little sacrifice to second, and whilst he was doing that, Whitefield stormed home to score the second run. We are at the top of the third. Dustin Beggs is working his way through the Bandits order quite well at this point. We're about to go 7, 8, 9. Jeremy Martinez, David Sutherland, and Daniel Nielsen. And Scott, what have you noticed about Beggs so far? There is no gun. How am I supposed to cope? I got no stats to look at. I got no gun. I might have to do this off my own head. Okay. Okay. Well, you can always tell a good hit by the crack of the bat, so that makes sense. Jeremy Martinez at the plate for the Bandits, 24-year-old American. First time down under with Brisbane. Originally from the Trojans, USC in the Pac-12. Puts that one deep. And that one is out of here. Home run. There she goes. Jeremy Martinez has unleashed. And it's a 2-1 ball game. And they are going wild at the Sporting Globe as we speak. Well, talk about the Giants. One of their great traditions, and I know it's not just a Giants tradition, it's around a lot of ballparks. It's the K-Man, which is David Sutherland tonight. Unfortunately, Scott, if Sutherland strikes out, it's cheap beer. And one, we can't have any, and two, we can't even get there if we could have some. So Sutherland is pretty keen not to strike out. But he's down 1-2. There could be a stampede to the Yak Bar with a strikeout here by Beggs. And a bit down in the dirt, and two count again in the dirt. Sutherland happy to watch it fly by. 34-year-old lefty. He is the oldest player of the 47 named in the two squads. Puts that one high up. Edwards trying to find where the elevator shaft is on this one. And that's going to lob onto the roof. Of course, you may say, how come there's 47 players in total? Well, each team has 22 that they bring. And the home team is allowed some development players. And on this occasion, the Giants have named 3. So they'll have a squad of 25 to work through this 4-game series. And of course, that reverses when the Bandits head back to Newmarket. Sutherland fails that one away. Was this ever anything, Scott, that you think gets into the batter's head? Are they aware of this? I mean, they can hear the chicken music and the PA. Or is all that just completely and utterly shut out?
Well, at this age, yeah, it is. It's just you actually enjoy the atmosphere. You enjoy the way things are done and the carnival atmosphere at a ballpark. It fires you up, gives you a bit more excitement.
Alrighty, full count, top of the third. Fouled again. So certainly that they've picked the right man to build the tension here. This has been the longest at, but Beggs has been working through the lineup pretty quickly, even the home run. Martinez will just have a couple of pitches, and in the end, a patient quality at bat by Sutherland gets the walk, and all of a sudden Beggs shows a little bit of vulnerability. The home run, and now the walk, and this first out in the third is proving hard to obtain.
Well, this is where, you know, again, you're facing a class act in Brisbane, and you've got to make sure that you're doing the right thing here and throwing your pitches.
All right, we seem to have lost Scott again. As this one is fouled away. So we're at the bottom of the lineup now. Daniel Nielsen with 1 out, 1 on. Oh, sorry, with none out, 1 on. And just for a product. First pitch strike. So 0-2 in the count now. And then the Bandits will go back to the top of their order. Dan Nielsen, former Adelaide player. And he strikes out, and that is strikeout number 2 for Beggs, who gets back in the duel here. We go back to the top. Tim Cale, who ground out to first time around. 2-1 ball game. 2 hits to 1, no errors on the clock so far.
And he'd be very happy with that, Beggs, to get that strikeout. At this point in time, like you said, home run, come back and get that shows that he really has some, he is cool and calm and collected in the way he's gone about and gathered himself. Come back at it.
We'll give you the Giants defensively in a sec. Well, maybe not, as that one is played at Whitefield, attacks that hard. You'd expect nothing else from Aaron Whitefield but to attack that hard. I mean, you know, Aaron, where was the slide? Where was the spectacular catch? But that was important. He wasted no time, no hesitation for the quick second out. The fly to centre. We go to Logan Wade. The Giants, I better get through this quick. In the outfield, Beneglinski is at left and Whitefield, so I'm just then at centre. Cole Stobie is at right. Eric Peterson third, Mikey Reynolds short, Curtis Dobbs Curtis Mead second. Rickson Wingrove is at first. Mitch Edwards behind the plate today. Jordan McArdle is the DH and Dustin Beggs is on the hill. So at the moment, it's just a one-man commentary team. We've managed to mute Scott permanently for the moment. Apologies. Always expect some little gremlins on the first night. We'll weed them out. So this is Wade. Up 2-0 in the count. Looks like he's going to hit on a 2-0 count. Finding the gap. Yes, Whitefield can't get there. This will set up 2 Bandits in a scoring position. That is a double. A 2-bagger to Logan Wade. And now it's set up with Sutherland at third, Wade at second. A chance here. Big moment, big at-bat coming up here. The Bandits could, with a good hit, take the lead. Another out and the Giants maintain a 2-1 advantage. Andrew Campbell, Soupy, 27-year-old from Ipswich. Plenty of local talent that the Bandits have built up from Brisbane and the Ipswich area. Yeah, I questioned that too, but that's what the note said. He was from Ipswich, so I haven't managed to check the birth certificate. And we do thank all the clubs who help provide various information to help us prepare for the broadcast. 2 out, 1-0 count. Beggs delivers, and it's 2-0.
And I believe I'm back, Phil.
Scott is back. Welcome back, Scott.
Some people might be happy to hear me, hopefully.
And Chris, g'day to Coops. Yes, we put him in a shoebox. That's correct. Here's a hopper. Oh, and a and that's what in Australia we call a Barry Crocker of a bounce. We have a group of Bandits fans in front of us who've decided they're going to stand and applaud that effort by the infield grass to allow for absolutely no bounce, which absolutely, well, pretty much it yorked Curtis Mead, didn't it?
That was right on the edge of the grass to the dirt, right on that edge, and just took that little bit of a off break.
And just like that, the Bandits score twice.
Yep.
Sutherland and Wade score. Not even sure how I'm going to score that. I guess it's got to be a single to right. I'm not sure. You would have got an absolutely miraculous effort to field that. We don't have any electronic scoring to refer to tonight. So you and I are the judges in terms of the broadcast, Scott.
Yeah, look, that took a nasty hop to the left-hand side there.
So we've got Campbell, who has delivered. A good Giant start is all for naught. They find themselves down 3-2. G'day to Just the Duck, who's watching from Vietnam. Another country to add to our total. Bouncing ball. Does he get through the gap? Yeah, Curtis Mead is having a... Well, it's not for lack of effort, but the ball is just not cooperating at this point of time. And that's going to be a single for Nielsen. Advances Campbell to second. And we're with Mike Majama coming up. And this is turning out to be a problem. Third inning for the Giants. Mitch Edwards comes out to have a chat.
Well, one of the things we can see there is we've gone through the lineup.
Just about. We're up to the 8th hitter.
Yeah, we're moving through pretty quickly, you know. Now you're getting back into 5, 6. You know, you've got some power here, some quality hitters. And Beggs has now got to settle. He's tried to get ahead with his fastball. They've jumped on it at some times.
We also have some viewer from Taiwan, and the Beans watching from Bankstown.
Well handled there by Mitch Edwards with that ball in the dirt.
So last time Majama came up, he hit into a 6-4-3 double play. Thanks to Rodney. Always wouldn't be an Adelaide baseball season without Rodney on the chat, keeping us up to date with scores around the various sports. Robert from Bendigo. Little short. This should be the third out. Only one needed, only one got. That'll do it for the Bandits at the top of the third, not before they put 3 on the board. They have a 1-run lead. Now, last chance for the quiz. Which team have the Adelaide side played the most in the playoffs? Is it the Brisbane Bandits, the Perth Heat, or the Sydney Blue Sox? Scott?
I'd like to say Sydney Blue Sox, just something a bit different.
Okay, Scott says Sydney Blue Sox. The answer is Sydney Blue Sox.
There you go.
Scott is 1 from 1.
Well, you know what gave it away was I reckon it was the 5.
Best of 5 clue.
Yep.
Yes, there was a playoffs over the last 8 years have all been best of 3 series, but in year 2 they made the semi-finals best of 5. That game went 4. So Adelaide has played all of the other 5 teams of the original 6 in the playoffs. They've had 1 series against Melbourne, 1 against Canberra, 2 against Perth, 2 against Brisbane, 2 against Sydney. Brisbane, they've played 5 games. Perth, they've played 6. Sydney, they have played 7. So thanks for playing along. Just going back through the chat. And Scott, I think you've earned your berth next to me because you're the only one who's actually got the correct answer. Well done. Back for our next Friday night broadcast. The trivia quiz question. You see the lights are on. Still plenty of blue sky about, just in that sort of dusk period now. You see there on the board, the Bandits 5 hits. 4 of those in the third led to 3 runs. And now they've taken the lead over the Adelaide Giants. Coming up for Adelaide in their lineup tonight, it will be Jordan McArdle. It will be 9-1-2. Jordan McArdle, Eric Peterson, Mikey Reynolds. G'day to Mr. We got Matt from Germany, Bandits fan. Mr. 55 from Connecticut. Matty Wilson. Yeah, look, I'm just going to have to get Scott to shout, I think. or chew that microphone. One of the two.
Right there.
Right there.
Right on my lip. Is that better?
Yep. So Christopher, yep, Biden have reverted to the original name. So the Adelaide Baseball League's had 2 instalments. The first was 1989. Went around for 6 seasons, 8 seasons, 8 seasons. And during that time, it was the Adelaide Giants playing out at Norwood Oval, as there was the Brisbane Bandits. In fact, when you played Brisbane, where did you play them?
We played at the showgrounds up there.
The Ekka.
Yes.
Yes, because that was the ABL back in the day. That one of the issues that they had in the inaugural league was proper baseball stadiums. And you played at Nord, which is a footy field, the Ekka, which is a showground.
Yep.
I think Parramatta was a rugby league field from memory, as that's hit hard to left but foul.
Yeah, Parramatta with the Sydney
Wave Patriots, or they went through a few incarnations.
Yeah, there has been.
So here's a hit straight to second, and that'll be swallowed up pretty quickly by Mitch Nielsen. So that's McCardle away. The Giants have worked themselves through the order. Yeah, look, time will tell, Bites or Giants. But certainly SA baseball history is with the Giants. Of course, what's the drought now, Scott? The Claxton Shield drought.
Yes.
38 years now, 1980 I think, was the last time that Norrie, aka the Claxton Shield, was here in South Australia. Of course, South Australia will always have a connection to the Claxton Shield because it's named after Norrie Claxton.
There you go.
Who was a South Australian who donated this huge shield at the time in the 30s on the basis that they wouldn't name it after him. And then I think after he passed away, they did. And it is always been for the top team in the top competition in Australia. As this one is right away. And just in the netting. And Martinez already has a home run. To his credit, couldn't quite bring that in. Peterson survives to go again. So we're at the top of the third. Scott, I might get you, whilst we're dealing with the sound issues, to just check what's happening around the ABL through the modern phone system, if you have it. If not, I'll look it up shortly.
Yeah, I'll have a look there for you.
Actually, that's loud and clear. You're back.
Yes.
There we go. Of course, this is one of 4 games on today. One's already in the books. Perth beat Auckland 1-0. As again, Taylor works a little bit inside. Full count, 1 out, no one on. 1-run ball game. The last vestiges of Friday here in Adelaide. That one has popped up for another foul. Stays full count at 3-2. The Bandits away this weekend, head home. Next weekend they host Geelong Korea. Graham Lloyd, the new manager. Geelong Korea won their opener last night. So that's down in the dirt. They beat Sydney in extra innings as Peterson gets the walk. It was a hit by pitch with bases loaded in the 10th. Being the 10th, you had the international rules. Player got on, and then the hit by pitch, game over. Meanwhile, the other Victorian team, the Melbourne Aces, went to Canberra. The Cavalry hit back-to-back-to-back home runs and end up beating the Aces pretty convincingly. And so it is Geelong who are the top team in Victoria at the moment. All right. Bottom of the third. So this is Mikey Reynolds, who made things happen last time round. Induced the walk, scored the opening run of the season for the Giants, courtesy of Whitefield, who's up next. Just the 1 out. Double play would end it. Games coming up tomorrow night is 90s night Don't know about Scott. I can't ask him at the moment because I've got the headset on, but 90s are a little bit of a blur for me. I think I started in 1990 in university. 6 years in Queensland, that's what did it. Oh, that was a bit of chin music. And at the end of the 90s, I was married with a child back in Adelaide with a mortgage. So, pretty exciting decade, and we'll be celebrating all things 90s tomorrow night. It is a double header, I should add. So the main game is at 7. There is a game at 4, which is a 7 innings contest. And then the finale is 12 noon Sunday. Now, if you're a Queenslander, just take half an hour off of all of that. The games will be at 3:30, 6:30 tomorrow, and 11:30 on Sunday. Again, the pitch in the dirt. So, the Bandits players, of which there's something like 8 members of the awesome foursome of championships. Apparently quite a few of them also German champions as well, as that's popped up, and that'll be the second out to Logan Wade. Folks, hopefully Scott's back. Just don't move, don't breathe, just talk. Don't touch anything. Yep, all right, so you're checking out some scores, checking out the chat. Well, Reynolds now with that pop-up makes it 2 out, still 1 on. So the tying runs at first, and Aaron Whitefield represents a potential leading run. RBI 2-bagger to get his ABL season underway.
That's a tip-top stolen base.
Very well. Nearly got me on
Oh, nearly.
Just seeing if anyone can hear me or not.
I can hear you.
That's good.
Admittedly, you're sort of right next to me, but I can hear you through the headset. That's a very good sign. I'm the most relieved person in the building, let me tell you. As Whitefield takes a strike. 1-1 count, 2 out, bottom of the third. 1-run ball game. Yeah. All right, let's see what Whitefield can produce here. Taylor checks off second. Steps off. Go to Brett, who's in Brisbane. Daniel. There's Bandit fans everywhere on the chat, so I'm sure if we get too excited or too biased, you'll let us know. Of course, Whitefield is a former Bandit. I'll say taught him everything he knows. Has a swing and a miss. And now he's down 1-2 in the count. So, Taylor, a strike away from getting through 3 with a 1-run lead for the Bandits. Plenty in the dirt, that'll get past. Here's going to be a play at home. The throw, it's going to be safe, uncontested. Aaron Whitefield did it. Now Eric Peterson's done it. A run from second to home when you least expect it.
Yes, and we talked about that at the start, that the Adelaide Giants have got speed from number 1 down. And there it is, Peterson getting a great read, seeing that the ball went away from the catcher and going to a point that's very hard for him to get. And straight away got his wheels on. The minute that ball was out in the dirt, he was looking to score straight away. Aggressive, outstanding base running right there.
Yeah. Believe it or not, 2 seasons ago, the Adelaide Bite, I can say that because 2 seasons ago they were the Adelaide Bite, stole 8 bases all season. As here's the play to third. Working well in the hot corner there was Majama. That'll do it for 3. We're tied up at 3. This is Friday Night Baseball. Alrighty, welcome back. Always beautiful sunsets here. You know it's baseball time, and we've got ourselves a ball game. It's the Adelaide Giants, the Adelaide team looking to get back in the playoffs, having missed the last 2 years, up against the Brisbane Bandits, who have dominated everyone. 4 championships their last 4 seasons against 4 different opponents. They've played everyone except the Blue Sox in the Champions Series of the elimination of the original 6, but we know the Blue Sox don't make the Championship Series.
One of the interesting things you can see here, the 3 runs each. The Bandits have got 5 hits. Adelaide have only got 1. So quite an interesting approach, as we know that the Brisbane Bandits have a history of slugging the ball out of the park, and they're known for their field up in Brisbane. And here they are at a bigger field here in Adelaide, and they're coming out swinging the bats. But what a game here now we've got right on our hands here, folks.
You would have to say that Adelaide, so far, and it's exceptionally early days, we're 3 innings into a 40-game season, but they are making the most offensively of every opportunity that's being presented to them.
Well, again, we take hats off to Chris Adamson, Nathan Davison in the way they've gone about their recruitment, and they've got some speed, which is what we need in this park. It's not really a power hitters park, although we have seen a home run, but it's traditionally not known as that with this breeze that will hold the ball up. So it's really important that you do have those guys that can make the most out on the base paths.
Righty, to the Bandits we go. And that is for mine. Strikeout number 3 for Beggs tonight. Beggs is a pitcher. Well, the biggest award, something we'd all like to win. He was the Fish on the Farm 2018 Prospect of the Year. That's going to require some translation. Of course, being with the Marlins, the Fish,
yes,
one of their pro fan blog websites is called Fish on the Farm, that keeps track of the young talent coming through, and he had an epic 2018 and was awarded their Prospect of the Year. Uses off-speed and location for advantage. The scouting report says has impeccable control, something we'd all love to have. Low 90s in the fastball, but he does make any pitch. He can do any pitch on any count. So it's a variety of what he can bring, and brings the strike on that one. 2-2, 1 out.
And an interesting approach here. He's gone early with the off-speed pitch, and as Brooke does make mention, pitching is very important here, and we can see that defense is a key option here, and traditionally we've lost some starters, haven't been able to go deep in the game, and this is where what we're looking here.
Long ball to left, looks playable,
ball?
And Aglinski takes that in left. That was a similar spot to where Martinez last time at bat put one over the fence.
Exactly, but the difference between the 2 pitches, one was a fastball which bounced off the bat, that was a breaking ball. So just got that timing. We talk a bit about that last year in having that ability to get the timing of the batter out, and you could see he was just out in front of that and didn't have enough to drive that ball over the fence.
So obviously the K-man is an all-night thing, which is important. Gets the first strike. So this year, Beggs has been getting the frequent flyer miles, and not just from the trip down under. As this one is played to Wingrove, there's been some interesting bounces.
There has been
in that infield. Wingrove was up for it to get the 3rd out. Tell a little bit more about the Dustin Beggs story a little bit later. So as mentioned, the Australian Baseball League season number 10 seems to get bigger and better. We've seen some great improvements in stadiums, not just here in Adelaide, but Auckland christening North Harbour. Next week, Perth, they've had a multi-million-dollar redevelopment of their stadium. Starting to see some, players with very recent major league experience here, not just the AA and AAA guys. And the Asian connections
Yes.
that are building up now. Korea, Taiwan, Japan, even mainland China.
Well, we saw that last week when we had the visitors here, and I think the important thing is if we're going to bring guys that are major league players, major league prospects, if this league is a legitimate league, you've got to give them a field to play in and create an atmosphere for them, and it really does show that now with the new owners, all privately owned organisations, they're investing into the sport, they're investing into the infrastructure, which is fantastic to see, and paints a good picture for the future of ABL.
Does indeed. We'll give you some scores around the Diamonds a little bit later. As mentioned, Perth already 2-0 up on Auckland. A win last night 6-1 and a 1-0 earlier this afternoon. Other games playing at the moment see Sydney Blue Sox at Geelong, Korea. Geelong won the opener. And last year's wildcard game rematch is the Melbourne Aces at the Canberra Cavalry. One change this year with the structure, Scott, and
yes.
I like this. We know that the ABLCS is a home and away. Both teams get to host at least one game. It'll be the same with the semi-finals this year. So the wildcard game will obviously be one game at the higher ranked team, but the semi-finals, which will be the second team from one conference against the first team at the other conference, basically the lower ranked team will play the first game at home, the higher ranked team will get the next two if needed. Championship Series, the higher ranked team still gets the choice of how they want to do it, and they've basically put into the schedule the fact that if you have an Auckland or a Brisbane or a Perth sort of combination, they're going to play a Thursday, Saturday rather than have everyone travel and play in 24 hours, which is pure common sense.
Yeah, it is. It is.
So we go to the fourth with the Giants. This is Cole Stobie to be followed by Ben Aklinski and Rickson Wingrove. It is 4, 5, 6 in your Giants lineup. I know they've changed the name, but this is a very different side from what I've seen, especially from 2 seasons ago. I think when they first came to West Beach, for some reason they still thought it was Nord, and it was, it's the power. It's let's put some easy home runs over left, and slowly but surely I think they're adapting to score the runs that this ballpark gives them.
And that's exactly what we talk about. You put that ball up in the air, and the wind really does hold it coming off the breeze. And we've seen the runs that we've scored has been about execution. Getting the guys on, moving them over and scoring them.
So the crowd in. As mentioned, the first base stand pretty full. The Burrito Bowl doing a roaring trade. This is just a Friday night game. That sounded like a broken bat. And as luck would have it for the Bandits, it went right down the throat of Logan Wade.
And we see here Corey Taylor's really settled in now. He's got himself in a nice groove. Okay, he got himself in a bit of trouble last innings to give up a run, but this is going to, right here, it's a 3-all ball game.
He's looking at that scoreboard and saying, I've only given up one hit.
Yes.
This has been a quality outing. How have these 3 runs come about?
And that was Whitefield's double.
Yeah.
So, again, as I said, the walk, the getting him on, moving him over, scoring him, has been the advantage of Adelaide Bite. There it is. There's one in the tin.
Oi!
There it is. Just in case
Scott
you're
one,
listening
Phil
to
nil. See how we go. So this is Aklinski, who's former teammate of Curtis Meads. We were talking about the trade of Curtis Mill. He was traded for, I think, Christopher Sanchez.
Yes, he played for Perth Heat last year.
Oh, of
Big
course.
lefty through 97.
Yes, how small is the baseball? Well,
it is.
Sanchez got traded from the Tampa Bay Rays to Philadelphia and put on their 40-man Major League roster. So, and it was a 1-for-1 trade.
Well, it really does go to show how big that trade is for Curtis.
As Aklinski looks like he's found the gap. Yes, he has. Manages to get it past Wade Dutton. That'll hit the fence by the scoreboard. It's another 2-bagger. And with 1 out, the Giants have their second hit and are in scoring position.
And you can see that there. That was a breaking ball. He's just waited back for it, and then drove it. Not trying to lift it, just drove it into the gap.
So the potential leading run is at second base. We've seen, I don't think that the Giants have left anyone on base yet.
Well, I think you're right.
Just those strange double steals. Oh, and there's one through Mitch Nielsen. What do you know? We're going to have another runner score from second. And the Giants retake the lead 4-3. I don't know what they've done to the grass in the infield, but you do not want to be playing second base tonight. There's been some shocking bounces.
It would be interesting to see that one. I really think he handled that where he could have made sure of that. It was almost like he was taking that a little too casually. When you got a runner in scoring position, especially a runner at second, you got to make sure you keep that ball in the infield. If you can get that out at first, well then that's great. But right there where he missed that opportunity to get that ball, and that ball gets by him and that scores a run.
So do you think, I mean, we don't have the replay to assist us with this one. Do you think that, well, it could be an error, it could be a single to right?
I might have the fortunate thing of going back in time.
He's got the replay on the phone. Well done, sir. Of course, you all on the YouTube can do that. I've sort of got to stay live. Can't take my eyes off this game, to be honest. Never know what to expect. This is Curtis
Mead.
Mead.
If you don't mind, I can give you that.
He ground out to short at his first time around. So Wingrove is at first. It's all the ones at the moment, as you can see there. 1-run ball game, 1 out, 1-1 count, 1 runner on first. Taylor puts that one in Mead's wheelhouse. Will he get it through the infield? Yes, he does. Everyone advances from first. Wingrove from first to second. Mead is on. When I got a chance, how did you find the replay, Scott?
Still working on
Still
that.
Working on it.
Fantastic there by Curtis to come up and get that hit, just to keep the rally alive, which is very important at this point, is that you want to make sure that there's some action happening with the bats.
Wanted to share Corey Taylor's year. He started off double A at the Richmond Flying Squirrels in the Giants, almost said 49ers, but in the San Francisco Giants system. April 22nd, he got his first taste of AAA action against the Sacramento River Cats, just up the highway from San Francisco. Played the Salt Lake Bees. He came in at the top of the 9th. He had 26 pitches. Unfortunately, gave up 2 home runs. And that was his entire AAA experience. 1 inning, 3 out, 26 pitches. He was back to AA 2 days later. Now, okay, it wasn't a great innings. He gave up 2 home runs. That strikes me as amazing that 5 years of your life, building, gone in 1 inning.
Yeah,
I mean, unless there was an injury or something else that I haven't been able to pick up.
Well, that's the cold hard facts. You know, to make the big leagues is not easy.
Yeah.
It's not easy, and you know we've been fortunate enough. We've had a few, but it really just goes to show how hard it is to stay there. And that ball has driven back.
Mitch Edwards goes yard, hits the fence. There's 3 on. Slight confusion between the runners, between Mead and Wingrove. They sorted out. Bases are loaded. Wingrove held at second, thinking that it might be caught by Wade Dutton, but Dutton couldn't get there. No runs have scored, but now Taylor is in a jam, 1 out, bases loaded. And if the Giants continue their run of converting opportunities, this could be huge.
Well, the interesting thing is Dutton made a hard play at that, which confused the runners. So the runners weren't sure whether or not he was going to catch it or not, and caught him out, which was an interesting play there. And unfortunately, not being able to convert, Mitch Edwards not too happy with that either.
Last 4 players have got on through a variety of means.
That is a long single, a very long single.
Yeah. It's not too many times you see it hit the fence and everyone advance one. But
Not in that spot either.
But I guess, had the runners have been reversed and Mead ahead of Wingrove, it might have been slightly different with Mead's speed. But I guess this is better than actually having produced an out, because it's a wonderful opportunity here for J Mac, who, of course, is in a Grand Slam opportunity at the moment. He was the very man who hit the first Grand Slam for the Adelaide Bite. Could he hit the first Grand Slam for the Giants at West Beach Park's Active Display Stadium? Well, he gave it a college try.
He certainly did. And he has been in very good form out at the Super League, as we've seen him out there swinging the bat quite well. So he's the ideal guy to have right now up to bat.
So it's all set up here for the Giants. Of course, double play, and Taylor will get out of it.
Taylor just getting himself in trouble now. He's trying to work around the edges and not doesn't want to give McArdle too much. But he's getting himself behind the count regularly now.
So it is Wingrove at third, Mead at second, Edwards at first.
And there it is.
And there was nowhere to put McArdle. So when it came to walk 4, that scored the run. It's a 5-3 ball game. That is the third walk that Taylor has given up. The previous players who walked scored. So all 3 walks have led to runs of one way or another.
Well, now we come to the top of the lineup, and we will see a pitching change happen right here as the visit goes to the mound. And that will be all that we will see of Corey Taylor tonight.
So there coming in now will be Justin Erasmus for the Bandits. And it's interesting, Scott, we talk about being aggressive and attacking a pitcher, and often you translate that, you swing at early pitches, you don't give them time to settle. It's fair to say the Giants attacked Taylor by what they were doing around the bases.
Definitely, and that as a pitcher, knowing full well that there's speed out there, it really does put pressure on him to be able to make his pitches, and also looking for opportunities to steal. He's got to get ahead of the count. If he gets behind the count, he's going to have to come in with the fastball. So really does put a lot of pressure on that running game, and that is exactly perfect what Adelaide Giants have been after, and what they've tried to do is bring in some speed and put some pressure back in the middle. So hats off to the way that they've gone about things, and the position they're in right now to get Corey Taylor off the mound in the 4th innings. This is something that we're used to seeing from our point of view, and this is great that we've seen this happen, to be on the other side of it. And hats off to the way that the Adelaide Giants have gone about it. But let's sit back and watch some exciting baseball here for the second half, because there's a lot of baseball left here.
Absolutely, we're not celebrating just yet. Erasmus, 29-year-old South African, his 10th ABL season, 9 of them with the Bandits, 1 year with the Melbourne Aces. He's one of those awesome foursome who's played in the last 4 championships. And over 100 games in Bandit colours, 29 starts. Has represented both Australia and South Africa in various World Baseball Softball Confederation events. Not a bad option to go to in your first relief when you're in a little bit of trouble.
And this is exactly right. You're talking about a 10-year veteran that knows the game, knows what he's doing, how he's going about things. Cool head in a crisis like this.
So it is men at the corners. Mead is at third. No, sorry, loaded bases. I was just missing.
Yep.
There's a pole that took away one of my basemen. It is loaded bases, one out. Giants leading by 2, opening night of the Australian Baseball League season. That one's played in the Death Valley again. It's already brought runs tonight. It's misfielded in right. It's going to bring 2. Oh, it's a run fest at West Beach. The one place you do not want to fumble the ball is near the foul poles, because there's already runners tearing around. Curtis Mead will score, Mitch Edwards will score, Jordan McArdle's at third. We have ourselves a 4-run bowl game, as that was Eric Peterson with a 2 RBI 2-bagger.
And great hitting there by Peterson. You saw the first at-bat that he came up. He tried to lift that ball deep there. He didn't do too much. He just drove it down that first baseline, score some runs to keep the rally alive. Great hitting.
Mikey Reynolds. He wants to get into the action straight away.
This is exactly what you want to see. Obviously, you know, you got to come back in with a strike. Reynolds ready for that opportunity, and that's exactly what both players are going to be doing. Pitcher wants to get ahead of the count, hitter ready to hit, as the infield is in for the Brisbane Bandits.
And of course, both teams had very different and unique pre-seasons or lead-ups to this first series tonight.
We'll go through that in a minute, but right now it's 7-3. Brisbane are playing in a ground ball with eyes, could score 2.
Right.
Keeping that ball down.
I've got to get used to the fact that 4 runs is actually quite a big margin. Been calling some Super League baseball on Wednesday nights here in Adelaide. Make sure you check that out if you've got nothing on Wednesday nights. And there's runs aplenty in that comp where 4 runs you can get in a blink of an eye. But this is building to be a big lead at ABL level.
So right now here, what Brisbane are trying to do is they 4 runs is gettable, 5 is hard to get.
Yeah.
So Grand Slam gets 4, 5 is hard to get. Now bringing the guys in all of a sudden opens up the field. So Reynolds is looking to squeak one through here.
There's a swing and miss at that one, and we've got ourselves a full count. Well, as our calling colleague Fraser Fife words it, it's still slammable.
That's it, exactly. And Dave Nelson's well aware of that.
So Erasmus has got himself to a full count. Needs a double play to get out of it. Instead goes low, and we're loaded again.
That is a very good pitch, and a very good hitter lays off that. That is great hitting.
Well, that is the second walk, obviously the first walk for Erasmus, the 4th walk tonight. And I've only got 1 strikeout thus far from the Bandits on my quick glance. Not that my scoring is always 100% accurate, but I can usually tell a walk from a strikeout.
Yes.
Usually. So now, Aaron Whitefield. Let's talk about frying pan into the fire for the Bandits at the moment.
And now what you can see here is the middle infielders have gone back to play that double play up the middle. Third base and first, the corners are going to come home to play a double play through there. So looking to try and get a double play, but with Whitefield's speed, that is not going to be an easy play to make, let alone with Reynolds at first either.
That one is played straight to Dillson. He's looking for the double play. 1 and 2. Bang, got there.
Great play there by Brisbane Bandits to get 2 of arguably the fastest guys out with a double play. So they'll be happy to get out of that. But the Giants are very happy there with a 7-3 lead as we head into the 5th inning.
That'll do it for 4. It's the Giants by 4. Hope you're enjoying Friday Night Baseball.
And Warren, our first game comes from Adelaide's Norwood Oval. Oh, he hit that one. That's a magnificent hit. Steve won't get that one. That's got to be a 2-bagger.
It's going to be a play. Oh, it's safe. And there she goes.
there's dirt on my hands. Strong like a tree, there's roots where I stand. Oh, I've been running from the law.
And welcome back. Dustin Beggs working himself into the 5th if he can. As you can see the replay of one of the numerous Giants runs thus far tonight.
Well,
7 on the board through 4 innings, if you don't mind. They've got a 4-run lead as we're now into the night sky. And Beggs, if he can get through the 5th unscathed, will be the pitcher of record at this point in his first start down under. As mentioned, Beggs' season, he went all over the shop in the Marlins system after winning that Fish on the Farm Prospect of the Year award. Played 3 games for the AA Jacksonville Jumbo Shrimp. Rookie ball for the Marlins Gulf Coast League, 1 game. Then went to AAA, like Taylor, but he got a longer gig. 13 games, 13 starts, 74 innings, ERA of 4.86 with the New Orleans Baby Cakes. If he does get back to AAA with Marlins, it won't be with New Orleans because they've moved to Wichita. And I guarantee you will never be able to tell me the nickname that Wichita chose for their new AAA franchise.
No, I couldn't. I'd have a guess, but no, I don't want to get myself in trouble.
Let's see if any on the chat. You'll only know by Googling it. We'll see who can get there first. The new AAA franchise, formerly the New Orleans Baby Cakes, now in Wichita, what their nickname is. So we've got Beggs on the plate. So we've got, just checking, I've got my lineup still right. Yeah, we've got 9-1-2. Dan Nielsen, the DH, Tim Colwell and Logan Wade.
And this is an important time here for Beggs. He's got a 4-run lead. He's really got to come out, and he's done this right now. He's got himself in a 2-strike position here where he's gone hard straight at the hitters.
So tied up with a 2-2 count. Top of the 5th, approaching the halfway scheduled point of this ball game. Strong breeze coming in from the scoreboard. It's a little bit on the chilly side, but here in Adelaide we had a 42-degree day on Wednesday, and bringing the heat was Beggs on that. And he gets strikeout number 4. And so his ratio is 4 strikeouts to 1 walk. He says that, I guarantee he's been listening to you, Scott. He says he's exceptionally adverse to the free pass.
Yeah, well, there you go. Well, one of the things we've seen about him is now he's regained some composure. He's come straight back out here and got himself a strikeout and working. Now you can see him starting to work a little lower, and he's keeping that ball down, which is very important for him. He just goes about his business very workmanlike. He's actually very good to watch. You know, he'll get back, get the ball, get himself set, and he'll go again. He's got that big high leg kick. Not too high, but driving to the plate. Troy Scoble, like there's a past player from the Adelaide Giants there.
Well, this is down as Jeremy Martinez. I've lost track of this somehow, Scott, because I had Martinez flying out to left last time round, but I reckon I know what I've done. All right, so Martinez has flown out to centre, or driven out to centre on this occasion. Didn't take one for me to messing up my school book.
Here we got Logan Wade now.
Yep.
Australian player.
Then all I can say is, yeah, that's okay. So Tim Colwell has changed jumper numbers at some point. Or at least the numbers we were given have been mixed around. So I'll recorrect my correction. Oh, the fun and games of Scrum baseball whilst commentating. Beggs now, 1-1, all the ones. With Logan Wade, who flew out. Scored a run. In fact, he scored the go-ahead run for the Bandits last time he was up. Courtesy, I think, a single of Mitch Nielsen was what got him across home plate. tomorrow night, 90s night. Now, we had you off air when I was last discussing 90s night. How were the 90s for you, Scott?
Yes, very good. Very good for me. They were good eras for me. Finished off the 90s with a premiership at Goodwood.
Oh.
First one in 47 years.
Yes.
So yeah, they were good for me, the 90s. A good way to finish off 99, 2000.
Of course, Goodwood Indians, one of the local clubs, as there's a hit towards right, but
that.
making good
Beautiful
ground.
catch.
Cole Stobie, right next to the pole. By the end of the season, will we call it Stobie's pole? We'll find out. One for the locals. Alrighty. So Scott, I might get you to see if you can find some ABL scores for me.
Yeah, I'll have a look for you, Phil. Yep.
Okay. Couple of things for the Brisbane Bandits. G'day again to the watch party at the Sporting Globe at Chermside. Their opening series next week is against Geelong Korea at One Hub Stadium. They have a slightly different structure to things. They'll play a 6 p.m. game on Thursday night, which I believe is Logan Wade's 250th. A game on Friday at 6 p.m. and then Saturday, a doubleheader, 2:30 p.m. and 6 p.m. Not playing a Sunday game. And of course, one of the big things about the Bandits, of course, we know 4-time champions. It is an incredible feat in any sport, and they've been nominated for quite a few Queensland Sports Team of the Year awards. So they've been nominated as the 2019 Queensland Sports Team of the Year. And also manager Dave Nielsen be nominated for the Sports Coach of the Year. And the ABL Championship Series nominated for the Queensland Sports Event of the Year. Good luck to the Bandits in that, we say, without any issue at all.
Hats off to them.
The presentations are next Saturday night. The only problem is, at the same time as the Bandits are playing, so they may not have many tables at the function. I guess that's always an issue with a sports award, Scott.
That's
Someone's always playing sport.
Now I got some scores for you. We know the Perth Heat won 1-0.
Yep. In the 7.
Geelong Korea 4 to Sydney 2. And that game's over. So Geelong Korea won that one.
Well, good day to all the Blue Sox and Geelong Korea fans that have joined us. And the Koreans 2-0 to start the season.
And Canberra are up 6-2 in the bottom of the 7th.
Which is a 9-inning contest. So we could see Perth, Geelong Korea joined by Canberra at 2-0. Interesting start. It's always an interesting start.
Always is.
And it usually ends up being an interesting finish in the last week of the season. Back to the game here. Giants with the lead, working ourselves to the bottom of the 5th. Cole Stobie. Hope the locals got the joke before. Scott just gave me a strange look, and he is a local, so that's a worry. It's going to be Stobie, Aklinski and Wingrove. As Erasmus works through his second inning of work now as the first reliever for the Bandits this season. Puts that one in the wheelhouse, gets through shortstop. And whatever virus has been going through second base is spreading to short. As that one doesn't nutmeg but gets through Logan Wade.
This is uncharacteristic like of Brisbane. We've seen a few mistakes in the field that we wouldn't normally see from them. And Adelaide got the opportunity to make the most of it here. Getting Stobie on the bases is very handy with none out.
Well, they have so far. Now look, they left bases loaded in the last inning, but not until they'd actually put 4 runs across the board. There's now Aklinski, who struck out first time and had a double to right field second time up. Out of the Phillies system, 23-year-old righty. Silence descends here. We haven't had a run in about 10 minutes and the crowd is going silent.
And look, if you said to me that this was going to be the scoreline come the fifth innings, I would be very surprised that this higher number is more so anything the higher number in the runs.
Well, it does say in the promo, I think that was taken from a Geelong career game where the bite last year we had Nick Shumput have 6 RBI in one inning, including a Grand Slam home run. And I said to Fraser, we're seeing some stuff that we may never ever see again, and that sort of stuck. Well, we're seeing some stuff tonight we have not seen in quite some time.
Yes, that's right. Which is, you know, again, as we talked about, this is a new Adelaide Giants lineup, well recruited, and come back with a purpose here and how they're going to play at their park.
So Aklinski also college days in Kentucky. Last year, 2018, he was a mid-season All-Star with the Williamsport Crosscutters. Of course, Williamsport, a famous baseball locality for the Little League World Series. And of course, the Crosscutters' home stadium is now a Major League ballpark once a year for the Little League ball game that they play.
Yes. It's an interesting situation here right now. It's a point where getting behind in the count can really be costly. The 3-1 count, none out. There we see the runner go. And base hit, that's ball 4.
Yeah, so fair to say all of that play at second is pretty academic when it's ball 4, isn't it, Scott? You can't get caught stealing second base if you have to go there.
And that's the thing, it's a 3-1 count, 3-2 count.
Just run.
You're going to see that.
Yeah.
And it's a 3-1 count. It's a good opportunity to get him going.
So again, runner in scoring position for the Giants. That is walk. I'm running out of fingers, folks. It's walk about 5 now that the Bandits have given up. One of the things about the Australian Baseball League is that's fouled. I mentioned this earlier. I wanted to maybe expand on it a bit now. Well, we maybe have a chance, no outs. ABL is not known for pre-seasons.
No.
It usually is one game. Adelaide traditionally will play an SA Baseball All-Star lineup the Saturday before, with their players having arrived 3 days hence. A lot of these players have had some very different lead-up to this event. Of course, the season is short enough without adding a pre-season on top, trying to get that window. For the Bandits, half their team played for Australia, the 9 Australians, and they have spent the previous week playing in some of the great baseball stadiums in the world against some of the top baseball talents in the world. As there's a bouncing one, will it sit at second? A chance for the double play, safe. Could not quite get there. It just took a little while to get to Mitch Nielsen. Nothing wrong with the transfer to second and the first, just it took a while to get there. And we've now got player on third and first. So men at the corners. So, but the other Bandits, because the Bandits didn't have enough players in the country, they had to cancel their pre-season games that they had planned.
Yeah, right.
Okay. So some of these guys have not had a pre-season game unless they were part of Team Australia. The Giants, on the other hand, had quite an amazing pre-season. A trip to Taiwan to play Tarzan's Dragons outfit. The Dragons knocked us all about in the first game, but then we brought Tarzan back in the lineup. He hit a home run, and that got us going. Split the series against the Dragons in Taiwan. The 3 games against the University. So this is the team's 6th game together as a team.
Fantastic.
And they look sharper.
Great preparation. Great preparation, exactly what you want, and well thought out to go away together as a team overseas. A little bit of bonding with the team. So it's really, you're right, Phil, it's quite an interesting polar opposites.
Yeah. I mean, I used to never played sport at any level of consequence, but used to be part of the support staff. And home games were nice, home crowd, all that sort of thing. But you love the road trips.
You certainly do.
As a footy commentator, I love when the Sandfield and the footy goes and plays Perth, the Waffle. The commentary team get together. We have a road trip. It's awesome.
Yes.
And to do it, for all the things that you learn going to a different country. And I can tell you that Taiwan, having been there myself, is a very different country to experience than Australia.
Yeah, and one of the advantages of a road trip is you don't have the outside influences of work, family, kids. You can really get together and spend some time together and concentrate on getting to know each other. This is a tough at-bat here with Curtis Mead. Is 1 ball, 2 strikes. He's fouling a few off and he's waiting for his pitch.
1-2 count. Tries to find an outside corner and it just ain't there for Erasmus at the moment. So just to reset where players are at, Cole Stobie is at third. Aklinski was out in the attempted double play. Wingrove on the fielder's choices at first. This is Curtis Mead who pops it up. Second base, having to go a long way, makes the catch. And there won't be a contested play at home. Good cover work by Mitch Nielsen, who's been a bit of a magnet for the baseball tonight. 2 away for the Giants.
Yeah, well, the way that the Brisbane Bandits have been defensively, that certainly was not an easy out for them and could have caused them some trouble. And now we've got Mitch Edwards coming up to bat in what is a crucial time here for the Adelaide Giants. Just to get another run here would be quite handy for them, as we talked about before.
To tighten a screw or two, I think. Just keep that pressure building and get that out of slammable range.
Mitch Edwards looking for a pitch he can drive here.
Erasmus has a look at third and first. Was that in the wheelhouse? Edwards couldn't connect though.
Coming through with that high fastball, just getting ahead of him there with a 1-1 count.
You can see a little bit of action just starting in the Giants bullpen there. You can see how long they let Beggs go. He's been pretty good. Although, that said, if you looked at the hit count, at one count it was 5-1 Bandits. Now it's in favour of Adelaide 6-5. The other big part of that box score is the error count. 3 errors on the Bandits, none credited to the Giants.
Not seen before. This is uncharacteristic like of the Brisbane Bandits with their defence.
1-2 count, 2 out. Erasmus a strike away. Edwards fouls off. Mitch Edwards, Philadelphia Phillies system, which is interesting because he's probably going to share a little bit of catching duties. I mean, he was recruit of the year last year, at least from the hitting side.
He certainly was.
38 games. And you could forget that he was only 19 last year. As that is through first into Death Valley for the 3rd time tonight. Another run will score. A 2-bagger RBI, Mitch Edwards. 5-run ball game. It's the Giants 8-3.
What an at-bat there by Mitch Edwards, fouling a couple off, looking for one to drive, and there it was. Turning on that nicely down right field line to score himself a run. And get that extra important run that we talked about right there.
So that was Cole Stobie who scored, who got on because of the error through shortstop at the first at-bat in this inning. And so we've had an error, a walk, and then now the single. Only takes the one single, all those other free bases to produce the run.
And all the things that you talk about, his errors really become costly, and we saw that last year a lot of the time. The team that makes the mistakes is the team that gets hurt, and but on the other side of things, you've also got to be able to capitalise on those as well.
Late 3-ball game, bottom of the 5th, 2 out. Will the Bandits end it here, or can the Giants add on? Gets through the catcher, and the Giants will add on. We've talked about walks, we've talked about errors, haven't talked about the couple of runs that have scored through getting through the, I want to say through the wiki, through the catcher
yes,
tonight.
Well, Martinez has missed a few of those, and both of them have been costly that he's missed. Very costly.
So that's,
that's a tool of the trade for a catcher, is you got to block those balls, as we saw before with Edwards.
Ball in front.
Yep, Edwards did that earlier in the game.
And the problem here at this ballpark is that you've got a brick wall as the backstop, as traditional ballparks are. If you partially smother it, what you do is you don't get the ricochet back. If you actually let the whole thing go and don't touch it, often it ricochets right back at you, and there's no chance to advance.
It's a big backstop there. And there he goes on that one. He's proven that.
Yep. That's how it's done. But as you can see, Erasmus is 3-1 in the count, 2 out. There's only one Giant left on base. That's Mitch Edwards. Pretty much everyone else has managed to find a way. We've got our Rich. No, hang on. No, we don't. 3-1 count. Make that a 3-2 count. Just had a little bit of our first difference in scoreboards tonight. You can see the crowd there. Burrito Bowl on your left and the grandstand. If you think about coming down to the ballpark, great view guaranteed. And the weather this weekend's going to be superb as Erasmus gets the K and ends it for the Bandits, not before the Giants add another 2. It is a 6-run lead to Adelaide. This is Friday Night Baseball.
When your GP suggests an X-ray, low-dose CT scan, ultrasound or MRI, you can experience the difference of truly individual care and one focus, you. Sound Radiology is your choice for special attention, your choice for peace of mind, your choice when results are important. People from all over South Australia turn to Sound Radiology. One central location, one central focus, you. Call 1300 Radiology. Sound Radiology, your choice when care is everything.
Zambrero, made to order Mexican from fresh, quality ingredients. Explore our menu, dine in or grab and go. Vegan and gluten-free options. Fresh and healthy. Zambrero, Mexican with a mission.
I came from the mud. There's dirt on my hands. Strong like a tree. There's roots where I stand. Oh, I've been running from the law.
Welcome back. We're in the 6th inning, and it's all looking good for the home time Giants. The first time the Adelaide side in the ABL has had a home opener in 7 years. And you can see they have scored in 4 of the 5 innings thus far. 4 errors to the Bandits have all led to runs, and the defending champions find themselves in a 6-run hole. Phil Herden, Scott Pratt here, part of your Friday night baseball crew, as we take you through week 1 of the Australian Baseball League. Scott, there's been a lot of things happening tonight. What most of all has taken your eye?
Well, first of all, if you can look on the screen there's a few of the past players came up there. That it's been the first game of the season. It's been the Alumni, the past players are out here. But one thing that we've seen is an uncharacteristic like Brisbane Bandits team with some errors. And I've been very impressed with the way that Begg has gone about himself, about the way he's gone about it. Just workmanlike, just coming here. He's sitting here in the top of the 6th and just pounding the zone.
Will be 3-4-5. If the Bandits are to come back, here's their chance. Meet of the order: Andrew Campbell, Mitch Nielsen and Mike Majama.
Yeah, it's a very important part of their lineup and a very important part of the game right here. And one thing is, you can't take this team lightly. The way that they, that they can swing the bat.
Campbell on track to play his 300th ABL game this season.
Wow.
He's 27 years old, played all 10 seasons, means the new ABL came around at the perfect time when he was just 17.
And that's a pretty good career to have.
Not bad.
Come away with some championships and some good times up in Brisbane.
Campbell pops that up. Who wants it? Reynolds comes in. Always worry when the fielder comes in and all of a sudden drops and has to go lead back. But they might have overrun it. But Reynolds adjusts nicely.
Yeah, well, that ball's sitting up high with this wind. It does move around a bit, so where you think the ball's going to land, you just got to allow for that little bit further. And again, that's a great out there by Beggs, getting the lead-off guy. Very important that he goes after him right there and gets him, and very workmanlike here.
Just for some of the Adelaide fans, we mentioned the alumni introduced pre-game. As this is Mitch Nielsen fouls. Name a few of some of the alumni that are here tonight. Some of your old colleagues.
Mark Paparella, he is here.
He wouldn't miss out on a celebration.
No, he's always good to have around the place.
Foul ball.
See Craig Watts is there. Ben Wigmore. Mark Tainty. Andrew Kuzner.
I think they said they got something like 50 of the alumni back, which is fantastic.
Yeah, it is. It is.
I know from the footy perspective, the past players' days are one of the most popular occasions on the year. Stories always get bigger. There's Mead, wraps that up. No problem at second base on that one.
Yeah, well handled there by Curtis. You could see him making his way around there and looked very in control of that play, taking a nice hop up for him as well. So with two out here, Beggs is working again methodically through this lineup. But make no mistake, they just keep coming, don't they?
Yeah. We do lack access to the scorers tonight. As you can see, there's the mascot. Okay.
The Zuper.
The Zuper is there. Okay. Here's a play and a good work by Wingrove and Beggs, and that's another quick inning. 3 up, 3 down.
And there we go, we see the Zuper running. Zuper Cars, fantastic company there supporting baseball. They support baseball wherever they can.
Yes, Frank is right. Beggs works fast. Reminds me of Josh Tiles. So, does the mascot have a name? Or are we going to leave it up to our viewers to... He looks like a beach bum. He's got the blonde hair.
He's got a
bit worried he's got the black and gold, and he's about to get run down because here come the kids. Now that's a fair old length of kids in the Diamond Dash.
There is.
Which usually means a good crowd on hand.
There's a fair tumble through there too. A couple of boys taking a couple out.
Yeah, a couple of kids and a couple of, I think, people who might consider themselves kids at heart. Always a highlight of the ball game.
And the good thing about it, it brings the kids into the game. They get to get out on the hallowed turf and run across the field.
Yeah, so what will we nickname our mascot? Well, there may already be an official one. What was the one they did at the Sydney Olympics? You had Sid, Ollie and all the official ones, and Roy and HG came along with the dream, and they had Fatso, the big wombat.
Ah, yes.
And the Fatso merchandise outsold the official ones for a while. Anyway, back to this game.
Well, if we before we jump on that, a couple of Rob Chapman's jumped in and he's asked for Chomper and Gus, been retired, to bring back to the big pond and bring back Chomper. So before that we had Beaver Bear came out with the Adelaide Giants. Do you remember that?
No, I don't.
Beaver Bear was the mascot.
I was young. We're talking 30 years ago. I was a young'un, but I was a bit out of mascot age by that time. Back to the ball game. Erasmus has just got to find a way of containing the damage. So 2 in the first, 1 in the third, 4 in the fourth, and 3 in the fifth.
And the problem we see here, he gets himself behind the count. You know, and that's a interesting situation that we see the difference between Beggs. Beggs getting ahead of the count, and that puts him in a commanding position. Once you get behind the count, you got to come in here with your fastball, and just missing that.
So we are back up to the top of the order for the Giants. So this is the 4th time round for all of these. Eric Peterson is at the plate now. Mikey Reynolds to follow. Aaron Whitefield. They have all been busy. They've all scored runs. They've all got on play. All been busy. It's been a good effort. 1 to 9. I'm just going to quickly, while you look at the game, I think everybody. So the Giants have scored 9. 8 different players have scored a run for the Giants, and the only one who hasn't is Jordy McArdle, and he got an RBI, so he's contributed.
So sharing the load, which is fantastic to see. Not relying on one guy to bring the runs in for you.
G'day to Wendy Erasmus, who we know is a regular on the various Facebook baseball forums, the ABL fans official. Not quite sure how that became official, but as for the first time tonight, we've got Peterson striking out, and that is the 2nd strikeout for Erasmus. And for the first time tonight, he starts off with his first player out.
Well, you saw he got behind in the count, and he worked his way back into a tough at-bat there, and getting the strikeout. Just exactly what he needs to get himself back into this game.
Mikey
Reynolds. Here you go now with Mikey Reynolds coming up. And again, you can see he just keeps coming behind in the count. So the thing is, he's throwing 5, 6 pitches to the first guy. Now he's back here. So the problem becomes is he starts throwing a lot of pitches, starts to wear himself through the count.
That one a fair deal on the outside, but Reynolds not chasing.
Now that's a big miss. That's not just missing. That's missed that far that it couldn't even be caught by Martinez. So, you've got to look at here and say that things aren't quite working the way that Brisbane would like. You still get a strikeout, but now here you go. You've thrown. What do we work out? That's 4, 10 pitches, 11 pitches already.
Yeah. I mean, pitch counts for a reliever are not as much of an issue as it is for a starter who's looking to go a long way.
Yes, yep.
But the Bandits will be hoping Erasmus can work himself to this, at least maybe through 7. Because he has got starting pedigree. Here's your elevator shaft.
Oh.
And well done by...
What a catch that was.
Martinez. It seemed to just hang up there for an eternity. What was interesting with that one, normally my understanding is when you get those elevator shafts, you just throw the headgear away early. But he actually held on to it for a while until he realised where he could throw it, that the ball wasn't going to come back to.
That's right. And that's the first thing you do is you make sure that your mask doesn't go right where your feet are going to be, and you trip over that ball as you go to catch it. But the other thing with that ball is that when it goes up, it's going to spin back towards the field, and I think he was expecting it to go back further than it actually did. And then at the last minute had to turn the glove and catch it, what they'd call as a basket catch.
And you've got 2 conflicting forces. You've got this spin of the ball, but you've also got the breeze that's blowing it from home plate into the grandstand. So Whitefield at the plate with no one on, and this is a chance for the second time tonight, not since the 2nd inning, that Brisbane looking to go 1, 2, 3.
And some experienced pitching here, keeping a cool head, being in control.
To the Bandits dugout. into the Giants bullpen. So 2 out, 1-2 strike. Erasmus a strike away from keeping the Giants scoreless and stemming the flow for the moment.
That is great pitching there. Got to take your hats off to him. He's worked his way into a good out there and a tough innings. He's come out on top.
2 strikeouts amongst that. Erasmus a good comeback. It is 9-3 Giants on Friday Night Baseball. Welcome back, folks. We are welcome back. We're into the 7th, and Dustin Begg's night is done. Diana Ono, number 41. You can see the scoreline there. It is the Giants leading 9-3 on the opening night for both sides of the Australian Baseball League season. Giants with just the 1 extra hit, but they're base running. And look, let's be honest, sloppiness of the Bandits in the field has given Adelaide a big buffer with 3 innings to go. This is Diana Ono on the hill. One of the Japanese players from the Honda Motor Company. It's a partnership. And 2 pitches. He's joined by Daigo Nishijima. So I'll have to go back and find those Japanese notes that I had last week. On the right-hander gets the first pitch strike, so he's on the way positively, as Beggs was earlier today. And Marcus Solbach is a signed Giant, yet to get here. And were any problems with that? No, Beggs has done a great outing for his first trip down under.
Outstanding, and that's exactly what you want. You know, now it's time you hand the ball over to the bullpen.
Ooh,
and
no.
Not the start that you want.
And there's a free base.
There it is.
And that is Dutton. So for the Bandits, that's right. And a couple of others saying, well, here come the bullpen, and this has been an issue for Adelaide.
Yes.
So it is Dutton, Martinez and Sutherland. This is 6, 7, 8. And this is Martinez wearing the number 11 uniform, Koa number 1, which was what threw me earlier.
And we do remember that his first at-bat on that fastball inside, turning on that nicely over the left field fence.
Well, if I was at Lindsay, I'd be awake because the first 2 have gone deep to left. Of course, this is the thing. Of course, you score runs, get more on base. Giants 4 times around. The Bandits still working around their 3rd occasion. And saw during the Super League during the week, one of the players come from the outfield and become a pitcher, and he went to the dugout and he got his glove.
Yes.
And that created a discussion about outfield gloves and pitcher's gloves, and it's often said that a pitcher's glove is pretty minimal. But I don't think Ono was following that script. That's as pointed out in the chat, that's a mighty sized glove for a pitcher.
Yeah, you don't see gloves that big normally from a pitcher.
So he's got behind on the count, but he's brought it back to full. So This is what we always expect at Australian Baseball League games, a Japanese pitcher throwing to an American hitter in Australia. And he forces Martinez to foul.
And this is the beauty of the ABL, isn't it?
It is. Did the I think we have 5 different countries represented, which is actually a little bit on the low side this series. I've got the stats here somewhere. You watch the game, I'll find them.
Well, one of the things that we do know is that the world has well and truly opened up as the runner goes on the full count. And there you go, runners now on the walk, runners at first and second with none out.
I think
so. At this point in time, I think not that the Adelaide Giants are trying to give too much away, but they're trying to. Obviously, you don't want to go out too hard with too many arms. And you can see the translator running out
comes
there.
Out, and it's not there. She is. Not only do you get the manager and the pitching coach, the pitcher, the catcher, you get the translator, who was caught a little bit by surprise and had to charge out. Countries represented in this series. Okay, so the Bandits have a squad of 22, 13 Australians, 8 Americans, and 1 from the Netherlands. The Bite have 25, 14 Australians, 8 Americans, 2 from Japan, and 1 from Canada, being Evan Rutsky. I'm really looking forward to seeing sometime during this series.
There we go. We don't really have to interpret it too much. The actions were fantastic right there. A few deep breaths.
That reminds me of what
relax.
it was like in the commentary booth last week. I mean, it's nice to commentate a game with someone who just speaks English and nothing else. But I had players from some of the university teams and some officials whose English was just a tad better than my Japanese.
Yeah.
Did a little bit at high school. We had a ball.
Yeah,
we had a ball because underneath it all is the language of baseball.
One common denominator.
That's it. So fresh batter. This is David Sutherland. And all of a sudden, look, it's a 6-run ball game. But you do not want to, when you're facing the champions, you do not want to give them an opportunity.
No,
this is one for the Bandits. Sutherland, though, is down 2 strikes. So there's a lot on the line here. Ono could get his first sanshin, which is strikeout in Japanese. The crowd could get some cheap beer. If it's a strike, it is sanshin! Daina Ono! And the crowd is on their feet and off to the bar.
Fantastic. Very happy with that. And there it is. The visit to the mound paid off. Just to cool things down a little. The nerves, your first outing, coming out of the pen, and now getting the strikeout, exactly what you needed. As we have Dan Nielsen up to bat now.
Not out of danger just yet. There's still 2 on. The Bandits have a player in scoring position for the first time. A little bit of talk on the chat was that the translator was that Dana's mum. Brooks saying, good chat, mum.
Well, if I am not going to speak too soon, because our job here is to state the obvious, isn't it?
The bleeding obvious.
Now, can you tell me, I have down Dan Nelson's last 2 at-bats.
Oh, yes. They've got a letter of the alphabet called K.
Yes, so 3 Ks, I believe.
Is that the sombrero?
Here's a sombrero. Or should we call it a zambrero?
Hey.
There you go.
I like your thinking.
Kachinga.
I thought, you know that we like to introduce new words each year.
And he took that away from us.
Bases loaded and everyone's going to hold up. So that hit into right. Stobie, they weren't going to test the arm.
They do call that, we have talked about stating that, and if you don't say anything, you don't call it, but our job is to call that situation, and unfortunately it came back and didn't work for us.
The old commentator's curse. I think the fun when I do it, it works in reverse. So if you're at the Sporting Globe in Chermside, wake up, because here's a chance for your Bandits to get back into this ball game. Loaded bases, 1 out, back to the top of the order. Tim Colwell, who's ground out and flown out twice. Gets a pitcher making his ABL debut. Of course, Japanese baseball, it's huge. Sorry, Scott.
Things get really interesting here. You know, you're talking now. You're close to a 9-7 ball game. They're back in this. So,
yep.
Can you see if there's any action in the bullpen there, Phil? From
no, I can't. But I reckon our Friday night baseball team might be just checking the camera, and if there is, we might get a viewing of it.
Because there's not going to be.
No, is the short answer
here at the moment. Thank you.
There it is. So faith in Ono at the moment to get out of this little jam.
There is faith, but at some point in time, that it's a short lead right here. It's a short leash that you want to put him on, not a short lead, a short leash.
Well, this is where, as the home team with the 3 extra players, and I mean Tyson McGee is the extra pitcher.
Yeah.
He is not. He is not a development player. Oh, he probably is, but as Ono gets the strike,
and there it is.
And
there's
the second
pitch.
strikeout. That's 2. So they haven't. Only one time have they got bat to ball so far. We had a hit by pitch, a walk, a strikeout, single to right, another strikeout.
And they just keep coming now. Here's Logan Wade. You know, you get through one, you've got to come through to another one.
And we've got 3 Australian representatives coming up. 3 players with 4 championships in 4 seasons. Here is the moment for the Bandits. Just the 1 out needed by Ono to take it to the bottom of the 7th unscathed. No Bandit has crossed the plate yet.
And that's a great pitch there with the high heat.
Going for the 3rd strikeout of the innings. 1-2 count for Ono. Stares down Wade, brings the swing, Sun Shin for the 3rd time this inning. It was a rocky start, but a spectacular finish. And if you get a shot, the translator comes out and gives the lad a hug. Well done.
That is outstanding pitching there. Stand up and take a bow. Way to work through that. Some of the best hitters in the country. To go through them is outstanding pitching.
All righty, good day to Frank. It's 6 a.m, so I would assume that you are east side of US, as we do have some changes, and this is where the lack of a electronic screw is going to do my head in. We might see what we can catch. So the Bandits are going to mix it up. Still Erasmus on the hill. As I said, they are with the 22 players. They would like to stretch it out as much as they can the first couple of games. 7 innings tomorrow.
Yeah, 100%. You don't want to go deep in your bullpen on night 1 for sure.
Somewhere in here I do have the pitching matchups coming up. I know Tim Atherton, I think, is on the hill tomorrow in the opening game. And I think he's got Michael Gaines, so that will be something pretty special. At the moment, the Giants starter for Game 4 on Sunday is that world famous player TBD. TBD gets around a lot.
Yes. Certainly, I guess it's a case of seeing what will happen at that point in time in the series.
Gunnar Kynes is the starter for the Giants in Game 3. Of course, games tomorrow. Adelaide time, 4 o'clock and 7 o'clock, 7-inning contest. And then a 9-inning, assuming they go to their scheduled time, that'll be 7 o'clock.
Yes. We talked about the 7 innings ball games in New Zealand.
We haven't discussed it in depth. It's a controversial topic, as we do have Cole Stobie, who led off the 5th, which is where the Giants scored a couple. It'll be Stobie, Aklinski and Rickson Wingrove. actually the first few hitters that Erasmus faced when he came out before. Bottom of the 7th, I reckon we might be I'll get you to check the scores again, Scott. I reckon we might just about be the sole game standing now.
Yep. And a nice comment there, Tom Bryce. He loves a beret, and we do have those fond memories of Tom Bryce out at Norwood Oval.
Do indeed. I always remember Tom Bryce's home run on a Sunday afternoon that beat Perth. I think it was almost a 1-0 ball game. Brycey got a beer from the Shark Tank as he crossed home plate. And that win not only won the game, but it won the series against Perth. And that was the first time that Adelaide in the modern ABL had actually beaten Perth in a series, staggeringly enough. A big night. And of course, he was part of that back-to-back-to-back.
Yes, that was unbelievable.
Cole Stobie gets the walk.
Should we ask that to people out listening? Who was in that back-to-back-to-back?
I'm giving one name away. I think I would struggle to name the other two. For some reason, I only remember Bryce's. Yeah,
Stephen Welsh.
Stephen Welsh. Jeez,
Mitch Benning and Tom Bryce.
Gee, they're two names I should surely remember. A couple of years ago, I nicknamed this side the Baby Bite because they really didn't have much in experience. They did have Steph Welsh who came back last year. No 10-year players in the side. And
no.
You're looking at this team now, and Jordan McArdle in his 4th season, and actually Mitch Edwards is in his 5th. As that is popped up, and shortstop will come around and get the out. Easily done there by Logan Wade.
Well, you saw Jordan McArdle played his 100th ABL game last year. Remember that?
That's right. So, and Angus Rozier, who's in the squad, but is going to be a pinch hitter for tonight, maybe. They're the veterans, or at least of a long tenure with Adelaide. So this is a young, up-and-coming squad. We mentioned 4 players born in the new millennia. None for Brisbane. A couple of 4 teenagers and all of that, of course. Brisbane, I think the 4 oldest players out here this weekend are all from the Bandits. They've built a solid squad. 8 players that have won all 4 championships, 9 Australian reps, about 6 that have played 10 seasons. A bit of a slow start tonight, and Erasmus has to keep that scoreboard with dark eggs to give the hitters a chance. Nixon Wingrove has come over from the Blue Sox. The thing about Adelaide, it has been a team of opportunity for some of the clubs, and seems to be Sydney in particular. So many baseball players in Sydney, so few spots for those locals to rise to the ranks.
Well, that's right. We've seen Mitch Denning, we've seen Rich Olsen, Chris Adamson.
Indeed.
Our manager.
The All-American Australian, Chris Adamson. So 2-1 count, 1 out, 1 on for the Giants. We're waiting for the Bandits' comeback. They loaded the bases, but could not score against Ono in the last inning. So probably gave the Giants a little bit of a wake-up call that they just have to keep on piling on the offensive pressure. Wingrove tonight. He's been on base twice. Hasn't. As we have the steal attempt of second, that's going to be uncontested. Stobie's in scoring position.
Again on that.
There's a walk, so not stolen base, it's a walk. That's back-to-back walks by Erasmus now. Hang on. So 2 walks this innings.
Good opportunity here for Curtis Mee to give the Adelaide bite. Adelaide bite, there it is.
Ding, $2.
Must be sitting here in the cold. It reminds me of that.
You realize I'm talking a little bit slower tonight because I'm just working it through. It's a long season. I will be donating. I know that much. $1 for the finder every time I say Adelaide, you know what, out of context. Right now, Curtis Mead. I think he hit for the cycle over last weekend and had it all up, including a grand slam against the Tokyo Big Six. And I have a feeling that the Japanese are always so polite. They're the most polite people I've ever met. But there was enough of a good vibe, I think, from the series that I reckon they might be back next year, and hopefully it's an annual event, because if tonight is any indication, it's a pretty good warm-up.
It sure is.
So Mead 0-2 down in the count. Shows. Doesn't seem to faze the young lad. Only 19 years of age. The newly traded Tampa Bay Ray.
Quite an interesting situation as he's looking to put this ball into the outfield to score some runs. And a broken bat here. Whoa, wild throw. So the wild throw over at second base, managing to keep the runners at second and third, so actually advancing the runners, which works out quite well. Just needing to take some composure on that ball coming back to him, but under the pump and got rid of it too quickly, dragging the shortstop off the base.
Well, it got it out, so therefore is it an error?
Wild throw.
Wild throw, yeah.
Yep.
So in some ways that was almost a sacrifice by me.
Yes, very much so.
Probably unintended sacrifice, but so 2 men in scoring position, 2 out. Can't say the bite would seal it if they could get a hit here, but the longer this goes, the better they look. Certainly offensively. There's Mr. Pitch again down low in the dirt, and there's been maybe I haven't called ABL for a while. There seems to be a lot in the dirt tonight.
There has been. This has been the highest that I've seen for a while. Highest behind the count situations after every batter. And interesting here, we've got Mitch Edwards hitting 8, who was one of the key hitters for the Adelaide Bite last year.
And he puts that past second. This will be an RBI for 1. And it will stay at 1.
Yeah, and well held up there by Michael Dunn. At that point in time, great hitting there by Mitch Edwards.
He has had, correct me on this, 3 hits tonight.
3 hits. All
single to right.
Right field.
Single to right. And a single to right. So we don't have an official player of the game, but you know, I like your summaries and wrap-ups, Scott. I might get you to pick the player who stood tall the most. To go with a hashtag of stand tall. This is Mercado. I said he's the only Giant thus far not to score a run, but he has contributed. One of his walks with loaded bases scored a run. That one almost takes out first base coach. It is men at the corners, 1-1 count. This third out proving difficult.
Just on Mitch Edwards, not only has he done that with the bat, but I think he's also been calling such a very good game there with the way that him and Beggs work together. That, you know, that's their first outing together as a team.
Well, it's their first ABL outing
that's
together.
Right.
Now, Ono pitched last week. And I'm pretty sure Beggs pitched in Taiwan. So there's the advantage of those pre-season games.
Yep.
Because it is. So Mercado down 1-2 in the count. Erasmus is saying, where can I get this strike? Where can I get this ground out?
You see here how they've got Mercado, so shortstop playing over second base. They've got him on the swing shift.
Yep.
Second base in the hole, third base has come around here, looking for him to pull the ball and having that covered there.
There's a pass ball, which wasn't really touched by Martinez. You saw that brick wall ricochet back.
Look, that was more than a pass ball. I reckon that was a mix-up on signals right there. He was expecting a breaking ball. Catchers don't miss a ball like that. Trust me, you do not miss a ball like that. That's a ball that you're going to catch anytime.
We got 2 out and a 2-2 count.
There it is.
There's the Richie. Something marvellous is about to happen. You should have seen the Japanese players. We was trying to talk about a Richie last week. They were getting into it too. They were telling me when it was 2-2-2.
They would have loved it.
So we may not have got it to go around Australia, but it's going to Japan.
Fantastic.
10-3 ball game, fouled away. There's a bit of discussion about, and it will continue for a while, I think. I suspect the name change may well come down to how successful they are. If all of a sudden the Giants start doing great things, then it will be a marvellous move. And certainly they have baptised the rebranding of the name with a 10-3 lead. I don't have the scores from last year, but take out the Geelong career games. And I'm struggling with too many times they hit. And this is a fly to right, which will bring the third out, which means no runs score. It remains 10-3 at the bottom of 7. It's looking good for Adelaide. This is Friday Night Baseball.
When your GP suggests an X-ray, low-dose CT scan, ultrasound or MRI, you can experience the difference of truly individual care and one focus, you. Sound Radiology is your choice for special attention, your choice for peace of mind, your choice when results are important. People from all over South Australia turn to Sound Radiology. One central location, one central focus, you. Call 1300 Radiology. Sound Radiology, your choice when care is everything.
Zambrero, made to order Mexican from fresh, quality ingredients. Explore our menu, dine in or grab and go. Vegan and gluten-free options, fresh and healthy. Zambrero, Mexican with a mission.
I came from the mud, there's dirt on my hands. Strong like a tree, there's roots where I stand. Oh, I've been running from the law.
Well, you can see there the Giants bullpen, Jason Lott warming up. Still Ono on the hill. But Tank Adamson is ready to make a move should the need arise.
Yeah, look, I think at this point in time, when you're looking at the score being 10-3, it's a good opportunity to get some guys some innings in, get them out, get some work, have a look at them, give them that opportunity to get some valuable experience, which is a key for the Adelaide Giants to get. And very comfortable right there, and wow, that is an uncharacteristic number 4 errors for the for the Brisbane Bandits. Adelaide Giants wouldn't have seen this coming tonight.
I did a stat, I think the first 2 years, if you had more errors than your opponent, you lost 80% of the games. It is a ballpark that is unforgiving if you are not sharp in the field. Ono is back on the hill for the Giants. The Bandits have 6 outs to do something about this deficit.
Yeah, and look, it is very much so a well-known fact in baseball is that defence is such a vital part to the game, and free bases we talked about last year. There's another good pitch right there. So now he's got himself in some control here, getting ahead of the count, which again we can see the difference.
They've made a change. This is first at bat for Nate Van Kahn, number 18, and his first at bat is a strikeout, and which gives me no time to talk about Nate Van Kahn at all. Sorry, Nate. And that is 3rd strikeout and 4 strikeouts and 5 at bats for Ono. Took him a while to find the groove, but he is rolling now.
Yeah, he's got himself in a nice spot right at this point, and again, it's that getting in and getting ahead of the count right there again. And you know, the nerves, the first innings, first time out on the hill, first time in this situation.
So Mitch Nielsen and then Mike Majama, unless there's any further changes. Nielsen puts that up. It's right by the edge of the field, by the tarp, but caught by Peterson. Another metre or two and he'd be jumping over the tarp to make the catch.
Yeah, very good catch there. Just enough room as that ball hung in that on that morning track there. Thanks, Rodney. Yeah, I am sitting in a comfortable position here, but not 100% comfortable. But, you know, you can see right here, one of the key things is that we're getting ahead of the count and taking command of the situation, which is something that I'm sure you'll agree we haven't really seen that before from the Adelaide bullpen. You know, to have a guy come out here and he settled in nicely and got himself throwing some good pitches.
A little bit of discussion is
one of the balls from the fans is thrown out.
Chance to reset. Base is empty. 2 out. Bandits trailing by 7 on the opening night of the Australian Baseball League season for these two clubs. That one's played right down the middle by Majama. And that is the first time I've got him on base tonight.
Certainly is.
And it will be followed up by Wade Dutton, who struck out first 2 times and then hit by pitch, assuming that's the change. In fact, this will be it for, oh no, Adamson is out. Says Domo arigato gozaimashita. Thank you very much. He said after a shake hands, Patterson points to the bullpen. I can see there's a pitcher coming in, takes the ball. I think that's pretty universal language.
Yes.
And look, you know what was great about that? The whole infield came in.
Yeah, yep.
And
just
said,
to make him feel a part of it.
Yeah. And he comes off to the crowd, he bows, the translator bows. Fantastic.
Just adds a little bit of theatre to the game, doesn't it?
Well, new season, we're always looking for the cult hero. And Jason Lott is on the hill. Jason, formerly from the Cavalry of Canberra. 2 years in the States, pitching at Delta State and South Alabama. 24-year-old Aussie. Righty. Again, come to Adelaide. A little bit of a rarity for a Canberra native to move. Yeah, because, you know, the old, I have no idea what they are now, the old import rules, I think they've been loosened a little bit. Canberra always had the issue meeting the Aussie rule because the Canberra comp was so small, being such a small city. And so if there was a decent local player, they were like gold.
Yes.
For the Cavalry to come in.
And especially a pitcher like this. One of the things you can, having a look at Lott, is he's very similar to a Rich Olsen in the way that he goes about it. Very similar action. And a good time to come in here with 2 out.
Yeah. There's the opportunity to get settled, you would think. So Majama is at first.
Yes.
Dutton is at the plate. Looks like he's getting into Movember, Wade Dutton, although I suspect he may have started in September with a beard that good.
Well, his first 2 at-bats weren't the best, and then getting hit the second, so 2 Ks and a hit pitch ball. He'd be looking to redeem himself for the night.
Lott manages to, he found something on the outside corner I didn't think was there on that one. Evens the count at 1-1, 2 out. Giants would love to take a 7-run lead into the 9th. A double play grounder would do that. Well, no, it wouldn't. Need a double play, it's 2 out. Too many ones there for me. 1-2 count. A strike away. So we'll see if Lott will end up being the closer tonight. In the dirt, and that's how you do it.
That is exactly how you do it. Well handled there by Mitch Edwards. And you can see that gives Lott some confidence at that time. You can throw that breaking ball with confidence, knowing that your catcher's going to support you on that ball in the dirt.
It's the chat wondering if we're going old school with the ABL names. You're going to have the Gold Coast Cougars or the Dakio Dolphins. You have a couple of good trips up the Gold Coast, Scott.
Gold Coast Cougars, that was my first trip. My debut there was at Carrara Stadium.
Oh, Carrara.
Under the big lights.
Yes. Now Metricon, now AFL home, would you believe? Gold Coast Suns. There's a long hit towards left. And Whiskey goes back, he's on the warning track, but swallows it. And that'll do it for the Bandits for the 8th. No runs on the board. They have a grand total of 3 runs, all scored in the 3rd.
Uncharacteristic like, and quite interesting, we talk about the different ballparks. Now that ball there would have been a home run in Brisbane.
Yep.
So you can see the difference between how when you're playing at your own park versus playing at another park. And Brisbane play a lot of games at home, and they get themselves in a short porch and they hit some balls that are going to be out of here.
If they get the wind blowing the right way at Newmarket, I think the semi-final series they had last year, I think it was something like 23 home runs over a 3-game series.
Yep.
You're right, different ballpark. Here, swing for the fences if you want. We saw 1 run to Martinez, but it's more about where you hit them than how hard sometimes.
And that's right, and we saw the amount of balls that have been hit to right field from the Adelaide Giants. They've just not tried to do too much. They haven't put that ball. There's 1 fly ball to right field. I remember last year we would have talked about the amount of times that ball just sat up in the air. And here we've seen a lot better approach where they've driven the ball to the right side and they've kept it down and they've manufactured and they've scored some runs. So a real big difference there between the two teams.
Yeah, forced 4 errors so far. We go to the bottom of the 8th. And is this... Just check the player here. Now this is where I've got a little bit of confusion as to who's out there, because the numbers we were given don't quite match up with all of that. But here's a new pitcher. It looks like Matty Timms. Thank you for the confirmation down the line. So Matt Timms comes in. Took a while to get on the... I don't think he's officially on the website roster. Of course, for all your ABL news and videos, and go to baseball.com.au. And the Australian Baseball League website comes off of that, and go to the videos. Yeah. So Tim's a long-time veteran of the Bandits outfit. Usually the way it worked when the Bandits were at their strength, he was the setup man in the 8th. Searle would come in and close it out in the 9th.
Yes, well, at this point in time, I think what they're trying to do is be conservative in going to their bullpen and not using too many guys up, because it's there's still 3 more games, and that's what they're mindful of. And keeping guys' arms fresh is very important as over a 4-game series.
That's right.
And what about this guy that I've got next to me, Phil? Mark Paparella.
The famous Mark Paparella.
The famous Mark Paparella. Can you say hello to the viewers?
G'day viewers, how are you going?
We really should get Mark a headset, but it's been that kind of night. I don't know if we can trust it or not.
Technical problems.
Oh, yeah. Anyway, back to the ball game here. As we go to the top of the order. 5th time round tonight for the Giants. And this is actually the Eric Peterson, who has a run. I think we've got a double in there as well, a walk, a strikeout, a fly. He's had a good debut. Of course, with the Taiwan games and the uni games, I sort of know these guys a little bit already. It is, of course, the first ABL match.
And one of the things we saw was that explosive base running on that ball in the dirt.
Yep.
Being at second, ball comes over to third base side and he scores off that with some outstanding speed. A bit like your days, Mark Paparella running around the bases.
But I'm looking forward to it. I hope Mark sticks around because I want Mark to tell me some stories about you, Scott, that I can utilise in later broadcasts. But not to be for Peterson on that at-bat. He strikes out for the 2nd time tonight. Tim starts off with a clean first out. So, reminder, tomorrow, 90s night, starts with a 4 o'clock 7-inning doubleheader. Yeah. And ask and we shall receive. It looks like we've got a headset working for Mark Paparella. This could be exciting stuff in the media centre. Hang loose here. There's a bouncing ball, and it's going to be a pretty quick out. Even the speed of Mikey Reynolds wasn't going to beat that one. So let's check this out. Mr. Paparella, good evening. Welcome to Friday Night Baseball. So it's been a good night for the alumni getting together, almost in record numbers by the looks. Okay, so this is...
So we've got Matt Hutchings coming in for a pinch hit.
That's not Aaron Whitefield. So the Giants, as expected, look, if you're up 7 and you're in the 8th, why not?
100%.
Unleash some of your development players, of which Matt Hutchings is one. Of Southern District's Hawks, Super League with the Crushers last year, and his performance got him a development role, back again for a 2nd season.
Well, let's just correct a couple of things here, Phil.
Okay, he's no longer with the Crushers.
Adelaide Goodwood Indians player now.
Oh, okay.
And also the number 1 draft pick at the Super League for the Wasps.
You have been busy.
Number 1 draft pick.
I know you were involved in the Wasps. Were you involved with the other move?
And it was Matty.
Okay. Well, I know. Yes, of course, we have the local club scene.
And he's over at Goodwood now, so yeah.
Over at Mortlock Park.
And
under
just
your
ironically,
tutelage.
his father, Steve Hutchings, is the next Goodwood player.
Okay.
So they are, and it's quite interesting. I'm sitting here next to Mark Paparella from Southern District, so it's he might elbow me one.
All right, let's try again. Mark Paparella, good evening and welcome.
We can hear.
All right. There's always some bugs. Well, Cole Stobie can dance with the best of them based on that little foul shot aimed straight at his ankles. So I know Hutchings is keen to break into the lineup, but probably should do it through a broken ankle.
Yes.
3rd time's a charm. Good evening, Mr. Paparella.
Good evening. Happy to be here.
Fantastic. Great to have you on board. You're calling some play-by-play. 2 out, 1-2 strike. This could end pretty quickly as Hutchings puts this towards the hot corner.
Look at him run.
Got some speed, but just beaten out by the throw of Mike Majama. And, of course, as soon as we get the headset to work, the inning ends. Stick around, Mr. Paparella. We'll be back for the 9th in Friday Night Baseball.
When your GP suggests an X-ray, low-dose CT scan, ultrasound or MRI, you can experience the difference of truly individual care and one focus, you. Sound Radiology is your choice for special attention, your choice for peace of mind, your choice when results are important. People from all over South Australia turn to Sound Radiology. One central location, one central focus. You. Call 1300 Radiology. Sound Radiology. Your choice when care is everything.
Zambrero, made to order Mexican from fresh, quality ingredients. Explore our menu, dine in or grab and go. Vegan and gluten-free options. Fresh and healthy. Zambrero, Mexican with a mission.
I came from the mud. There's dirt on my hands. Strong like a tree. There's roots where I stand. Oh, I've been running from the law.
Well, here we are. It's the 9th, and the Giants, Adelaide Baseball, reborn. They take a 7-run lead. The Bandits have 3 outs to do something about it. It'll be the home run here to Jeremy Martinez, David Sutherland and Daniel Nielsen, barring substitutions. Jason Lott stays on the hill. Phil Hurden with the call, joined by Scott Pratt and special guest Mark Paparella enjoying Alumni Night. You two, now, have you got any good stories on Pratty that we can tell on air?
I don't think so, not on air, but no, there's plenty of stories, but there's a few Newcastle trips that were pretty good back in the days, Pratty.
Some good times, yes, and we always enjoyed. We're talking about time on the road and having that opportunity to be away together, and how it would bring teams together, and we would have some good times there with Troy Scoble and yourself and Darren Kerwin. There was a little group of us.
So Newcastle, they were the Hunter Eagles.
Hunter Eagles
from memory. And as there's a foul ball. Now, I can think of away trips, Gold Coast, Perth, Sydney. What was special about Newcastle?
I think it was a plane trip, then a bus ride. It was a bit of an extended trip. But it's just one of those places you don't normally visit. You visit other things in your holidays, and this one was just out of the blue, but quite enjoyable trip. Every trip was quite enjoyable with the group that we had back in the day, and it's quite a real good group, a bunch of guys, and like I said, the camaraderie was really strong back then, and obviously a lot of locals were playing, and it was quite an enjoyable time.
Full count, none out.
Perth trip was always a good one, wasn't it? Going away over to Perth. In those days, we wouldn't get much in the way of meal money. And there's a play in the hole. Great play there by Mikey Reynolds on the backhand and making the option of that low throw, keeping it down and getting the runner out. Fantastic play there. Yeah, well, the KFC were the sponsor of Perth Heat, remember that? And we wouldn't get much in the way of meal money, so there'd be buckets and buckets of that product up there. And
so that was Parry Field, I reckon.
At Parry Field, beautiful Parry Field on a 40-degree day, and it was about 55 degrees out on the AstroTurf.
Yes, because you played in some. Parry Field was, I guess, pretty much a baseball field. As this one's popped up, could be second out if they can get there. Oh no! No, it wasn't. Oh no, that was Reynolds, I think, who had it and lost it. Put up in the breeze. Just give us a chance to continue the story.
Just an interesting thing you can see there, the flags are now coming the other way. They're going away. Before they were coming through. So a change in wind direction doesn't help. But yeah, it was good. We could get up there and get stuck in the KFC, and quite a bit of fun.
Put as much as we can back in the bags for the little bus ride home back at the motel.
Just from memory, and there's the story about the Tuatara to get the TV deal going 7 innings at all their home games. I reckon with some of your games, the road trips, you played a double header that were both 7.
Yep, two on a Friday night, 2 on a Saturday night. And one season we'd come back and play club ball on the Sunday.
Yep. So how do you play 2 on a Friday night? Would you start at 5 or?
Just 2 7 innings games.
Okay. Wow. There would be some late finishes on those Friday nights, I would suspect.
Yeah, well, both of them. Even Saturdays were late games. Like, you know, you could get back in your room, be midnight by the time you got back there.
So we've got a 1-2 count, 1 out. We're at the 1 pitch warning. It's a bit of a strange baseball term, but I like to bring him in because a double play will end it here for the Giants. And they'll start the season off victorious. That one is not going to be a double play. Might be a first out. They can get to light in time. Yes, they can.
Wow, what a play.
And Nielsen not particularly happy. One D. Nielsen. Haven't seen the other D. Nielsen come out. Manager David. Sutherland moves to second. Bandits are in scoring position, but they only have 1 out to play with as they go to the top of the order. As a former Giant, your thoughts on Giants to bite now back to Giants?
Oh, I like the concept. It's exciting for a past player as a Giant to come back out and very similar uniforms. Not too similar, but just with the Giants on the uniforms again, it's pleasing to see. Maybe get a couple of the old school supporters back out and come and see what it's all about in the new era. But I'm pretty excited for it. Yeah, it's really good.
Well, I'll tell you what, they package up the highlights of tonight and tell the world. Probably didn't have social media back in the day. Probably saying thank goodness.
Like we didn't have phones back then.
Yeah. All right, this is Tim Cole, the leadoff man. His 5th time around tonight. And the Giants are 1 out away from taking the opening game and starting the season with a winning record, something that hasn't been done in a while. I think it's been 4 seasons since the Giants, the Adelaide side, won their home opener. Right, if I can, Scott, I know I'm giving you different tasks. Just check the final scores if you have them handy.
Yep.
On your magic phone. Earlier today, it was the Perth Heat over Auckland 1-0. The Heat lead that series 2-0 with a game to come tomorrow and Sunday. I believe Geelong Korea beat Sydney. It's just that Canberra-Melbourne one. All the other series, their second game tonight.
Canberra 7-2 up against the Melbourne Aces.
That's 2 big wins.
Josh Tolles with the loss. And so we had Geelong Korea with the win over Sydney Blue Sox 4-2.
Okay. So Perth Heat, Geelong Korea, Canberra, all 2 and zip. And Adelaide. One good pitch, maybe, away from starting the year with a win. Feeling nervous, it's a 7-run ball game. Expected a lot of things tonight, did not expect this. That's hit out to Whitewood. The former Bandit does it. The Giants are back in town and Adelaide are victorious in emphatic fashion. It is the Adelaide Giants winning the season opener 10 to the Brisbane Bandits 3. You can see the box score there. 10 runs to 3, 7 hits apiece, 4 errors to 1. Don't have a lot of time to wrap it up, Scott. First game back. Welcome back. Great to hear you along the night. Mark, thanks, Mark, for joining us for the following.
Just an
final thoughts to wrap it up.
Beggs, outstanding on the mound, worked very well with Edwards. One thing I got is errors versus execution. The Bandits made the errors, the Giants made the execution and scored the runs and did a very good job.
Well, we've got a team worth watching. Make sure you come down to the ballpark tomorrow. A double header at 4. That's a 7-inning contest. 90s night will be celebrated at 7. On Sunday, it's Sunday Fun Day with cheap beer deals. So, whatever you're doing this weekend, get down to Active Display Stadium here at West Beach Park. So there's the time. Tickets, AdelaideGiants.com.au. We will be back December 13 for Well, it is the arch rivals in terms of the modern year. The Melbourne Aces, the Victorians are coming. You'll see it all here on Friday Night Baseball. This is Phil Hurd on behalf of Scott Pratt. Great to have you back,
Thank you, Phil. Good to be back here and good to start off with a nice win like that. Well done to the Adelaide Giants.
Phil Hurd on behalf of Scott, Lisa and the Friday Night Baseball team. Good night from Active Display Stadium.